crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is a real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
What's up, Hoop Jargon in the building? HBCU Fridays, you know how we do. Thank y'all for everybody tuning in. Y'all being early and punctual. You always appreciate it, man. So I had to jam a little Aaliyah to get the Friday mojo rolling. I'm repping my HBCU on this Friday, and I got to bring a good homie of mine who's a friend to the show, Tacho. You see how I'm rhyming? You know, I got them rhyme skills like that. Y'all like that, huh? Without further ado, let's go and bring up here Coach Tacho.
Hey, what up, Cliff?
Man, you know, just modulating, enjoying this Friday. Phone call interrupting my my Aaliyah session, but we still rolling, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. First of all, your weight room is dope. I loved it. I could see
Man,
like what you're showing. Yeah, you was jamming.
Man, I'm trying to do a little something, man. I got to step the production value up, man. You know, I got some harsh critics out here, man.
Hey, you know, in my field, that's how it be.
Absolutely. We know that directly. We'll address that in a second. But shout out to Ed Learn in the building, Coach Ed Learn, Lady A in the building. What's up? What's up? Happy Friday. Absolutely. Coach, man, you got the floor, man. You what you got, man? Well, no, for those who don't know, introduce yourself, Tacho.
I was like, you want me to introduce myself?
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm in a festive mood.
Oh, I see you. You know, California, you know, it's how it be.
Absolutely. You know what time it is.
But anyway, for anybody that doesn't know that I'm Coach Tacho Tyler. I'm the head volleyball coach at PVAMU. I've been the head coach for 6 years. I was an assistant for 6 as well. I'm also a Prairie View alum. I played volleyball there, won a championship, and I'm also a 2-time PVAMU Sports Hall of Famer. So I'm excited to be here and excited to see what me and Cliff are going to talk about.
Absolutely. And I got to point that out, too. This is Hall of Famer. They won a SWAC championship in 2006, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So when I played basketball, she was on the volleyball team, and they had a way better season than we did because we was probably the exact opposite of a SWAC champion.
Yeah, you know, we were a real cocky bunch, so we had to win because we were just way too cocky. So we had to back up.
That's fair. It was the funny part is we were cocky too, and we were terrible. So, I don't know how that worked out.
Hoopers always are, though. Even the worst hooper, I feel like they're cocky. I think that just comes with the sport.
It comes with the game, man. So I think that's how we hit it off as friends way back when. Having those athlete parties and just kind of kicking it and kind of all just the minutia flowing and what have you. So yeah, man, I got to give Tacho her credit for being a 2-time SWAC Hall of Famer and a SWAC champion. So let's get it rolling, man. And shout out to G Boom in the building.
Hey, G Boom. Yes, he takes all pictures at all sports. He's always there all the time. You know, he doesn't charge us or anything like that. He does it because he loves it. So I want to shout him out. Thank you so much. If it was not for you, I promise we wouldn't have even an eighth of the pictures that we have. So I appreciate you.
I know that story all too well, man. All my great dunks I had in the Baby Dome, I got a picture of one of them. And shout out to my boy David Butler. I went to high school with him as well. He was our de facto camera guy, and it was, oh man, y'all appreciate it, y'all. Shout out to Prime Time in the building.
Prime Time, all right.
I love, man. You know, Jackson State.
We love our HBCU, not too much.
Hey man, Jackson State is what that is right now, and there's just no doubt about it.
I gotta agree, but you know, their AD gave me my job, so I'm
shout
always
Ashley Robinson.
Always, never forget that.
Good brother, man. All right, so let's jump it off the right way. So head coach, PV volleyball, not so great season last year. What are some of the insights of going forward and what you see the program heading and all that other good stuff? So I'll let you have the floor.
All right. Well, first and foremost, honestly, we the PVU stopper worldwide. That's funny.
Hey, Jackson people gonna do that the whole time. You already know
that's funny though. Well, first and foremost, I will say I'm glad that COVID as we knew it is phasing out. Honestly, that took a toll for us with recruiting because everything and everyone that we recruited this past season, everything was virtual. The visits were virtual. Us watching them was virtual. Live streams, and it's not the same as us going out now. We're in the gym. We're able to watch them. We're able to watch their parents. We're able to talk to them, talk to their parents more in detail, and really just vet them like we have done in previous years. And we didn't get to do that. And so I'm going to thank COVID a little bit for that. But now that we've kind of phased out of it, in a sense of we're back in gyms and we're back doing that type of stuff, I did a lot more vetting this year. I kind of blew up my roster, honestly. Kind of mid-season. I know.
Sounds like another program.
I blew up my program a little bit because for me as a coach, and any past player and a future player will tell you this, that 100% work ethic is the standard. And if you're lazy, if you don't like to work, if you don't like to be pushed, you will hate my program, because that is the standard. And I had several girls that I felt like did not live up to that standard and would not live up to that standard. And I was okay with releasing them from my program. And I did that. And so I initially had only signed 2 for the class of 22. But kind of mid-season, I had already knew what I was going to do and what needed to be done, because as you know, if you can look the past 3-4 years, we've been quite successful actually in our program. And so this is really considered a down year for us, because, we made it to the SWAC championship. We lost the game before the SWAC championship. We've been the top 3 or 4 in the conference the last 3-4 years. So we were really building something. And so when COVID happened, we just didn't get to vet the type of players that we normally bring in. And so that's what I did. And so I signed 5, and then I have 5 preferred walk-ons coming on as well. And I had 2 actually transfer in this spring, one from Nicholls State and one from a junior college, Navarro. And then I have a couple of JUCO kids coming in, one whom is a back-to-back NJCAA national champion from Iowa Western. She was their starting right side, their first championship, their starting middle this past championship. So I'm excited to bring her in. I have another kid who they made it pretty deep in the JUCO, playoffs too, as well. Super great additions, maturity, kind of bring a little bit of seniority in there, which is what we need. And then I have some balling freshmen coming in. I can't lie. Nice. They're super good, super athletic, love the game of volleyball. Their families are really great. Sometimes I go into a gym and they don't even know I'm there. And that's really to watch their family. I want to see how you're talking to the refs. I want to see how you're talking to your kid. I want to see how you're talking to the line judges who are normally other kids. And we didn't get to do that during COVID. And so if you're like that, where you're respectful, but you're more on the side, on the sideline and not trying to be coach-like, those are the type of people that I want to bring in the program. And a lot of these girls are super passionate about volleyball. I have another kid coming out of San Antonio and just won state with her team. So one thing I wanted to do is bring in kids who have won before and understand what it takes to win and to be successful. And so I'm excited about this year. Our spring season has gone amazingly. I would say this is the first time in a long time, as far as when I talk about the fall into the spring, where every day in the spring I walked into the gym and I didn't have to put the fear of God in people to work hard. Like every day, these 10 kids show up and they are working and they are putting in work and they're being coachable. And that was just a good sign to me, because it was not like that in the fall. It was like a struggle just to get collectively everybody to work hard. And, that could be a struggle as a coach, because this is the sport that they say that they love to play. And so when you have to, put that fear of God in people to do that, those are not the kind of players that you want on your team, because you want team led and you want everybody to work hard because that's what they want, not because I want it, if that makes sense. So I'm super excited. All the girls in the spring are excited, and I just know that I made the right decision.
I like that, because you hit a lot of tough points that a lot of people don't like to discuss in the situation. We'll talk about it with Coach Lucas at Grambling, cleaned house. Very unprecedented, but not unprecedented in the same breath. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but and we'll get to that. But what I do want to accentuate is everybody doesn't come to Division I sports ready to work. How do I know that? I wasn't.
Same. No, I was ready to work, but we had girls like you though.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the standard, because let me back up. When I got to Prairie View, I was ready to go. When I went to Stephen F. Austin, my first school I went to, I had no clue what it meant to be no Division I player or nothing. Insert Tights, I got you. Thank you for Super Chat. I got you in a second. And we're gonna ask Coach Tacho that question, but I wanted to kind of overlay with this. You really got to build tolerance up to know what the standard is for Division I.
Yes.
When I came to Prairie View, I came ready to work. I knew, like, I'm older. I had 2 years, and like I ain't here for play, right?
Yeah.
I came at 21 years old. I came at 18 to SFA, like, dude, like, why we got to go hard every day? Like, why we got to be here 45 minutes before practice? And it's people don't understand that some kids, it's a very big mental jump for you to be ready for that level of competition. Yeah. And it's frustrating as a coach because why? Your job is attached from player performance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the dirty part about, collegiate sports that doesn't really get discussed. And I think these conversations are important, you being candid, because everybody thinks, oh, well, my baby got a scholarship. My baby is entitled to this. No, it's a 1-to-1 year renewable, first off. And
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
It's not a 4-year scholarship.
It's not
1 year renewable.
Yeah.
So you have to perform. You have to perform.
Yeah.
It sucks. I understand that, but that is reality. You have to perform. Right. And then you segue talking about not being able to vet players properly. That's a thing. Like, because people look real good on film, but until you see how they interact with other people, coaches, refs,
yes.
like you said, you know what you're getting into, because you can get somebody statistically is just a beast, but they don't play well with others. You know what I mean? Literally and figuratively, don't play well with others. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like how you omitted one of your recruits, happened to be a NFL Hall of Famer's daughter. I said, like, how you glossed right over that.
Well, I wanted you to bring it up,
You glossed over that real good. See, you want to talk about Insert Tights, I got you next. But I want you to talk about what one of the ladies in your program.
Yeah, honestly, I let people bring it up. I don't try to mention it because I want it to be about her and not necessarily about her dad. But I will say she has all his athletic gifts naturally. She's just really amazing, and she's actually very young. She just turned 17 a few months ago. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So she has not even reached her peak. And after her visit, during her visit, me, her, and her dad were talking about how much weight training means, and how a lot of times freshmen come in and don't even know how to do a body squat. And so maybe a week later, she let me know, hey, I joined this, this high performance gym. And she's been like killing it, and you could tell immediately in her game. And so
damn, all that. Who a daddy?
Very special person. It's Terrell Owens' daughter, Kylie Owens.
T.O. daughter, PV Panther.
HBCU, yeah, she's a 6 foot outside right side, 6 rotation kid. Absolute beast. Can't wait to get her in the gym. Funny story about that, actually, how I got her. One of my coaching buddies actually told me about her. She played for UT. And she said, hey, I got this kid. She's a little undersized for us, which 6 foot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not undersized for us. It's awesome. But she was like, I think you're like, so she sent me some film. And then I was like, well, send me her information. And then I reached back out to her again. And she was like, oh, I gave them the information, but I don't think they want to come. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I went on Instagram, found her on Instagram. I DM'd her and I said, hey, I'm very interested. How do you feel about coming down to PV for a visit? She said, yes, ma'am. And she came down, and she's an architecture major. So that was a big seller in itself. And yeah, so her mom, and then T.O. came down for the visit, and she committed a couple of weeks later. So yeah.
It's a lovely story, man. Shout out to my Panthers, man. T.O.'s a guy, I've been trying to pursue to get on the show, so hopefully that'll go.
I'm trying to help you with that. He's very awesome, like very, very awesome. As big as his ego is,
He's cool dude.
He was
absolutely
super, super cool, super cool. But I think one thing that kind of made the visit go is that we really made it about her. We dipped in and out of places quick, not trying to get people to, stop them and stuff like that. And so it went real smooth, and it was really about her. And so, yeah.
That's dope. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, I'm sure he's used to getting his behind kissed everywhere he goes. I mean, for good reason. I mean, he put in the work to be have the reputation he has, but I'm sure coming at him like a human, that resonated with him. And so, shout out to you for getting that done for real. All right, so let's go into the super chat, man. So we got $10 from Sir Tyson. Y'all know what that gets you on this show. What dollar bill at?
Oh, we have questions.
Money. Yeah.
All right, let me read the question.
Yeah. I'll let you read it. Go ahead.
All right. Salute, Hoop, and your guest Hall of Famer. I'm a miss, not a Mrs. Tyler. Question for her. Does she notice a difference in the up-and-coming ladies versus when she competed? Also, what do I look for in recruits?
Yeah. Great question, by the way.
Actually, awesome question. So I'll touch on your first one. There's a huge difference in athletes these days than when I played. I think they're more athletically gifted, I feel like, these days as far as that, but their mental is a lot weaker. And then there's a lot of entitlement that comes with athletes these days. And so with us, I think back then, I think it was probably 90% coaching and like maybe 10% mental. And I think now it's like 90% mental and 10% coaching. It's a long mental game with them. And I think COVID honestly made it worse. And so, you have a lot of kids who were saying, I want to come to college and I want to play and I love this sport. But honestly, they're doing it for someone else, or they're burned out, or they don't want to put the work in to be better because they've always been the best, which is why you're here. But now how do we transcend that and get better? And they're not willing to put in that work to do that. And they have a lot more resources to do it, which is even crazier. Like I know when we were at PV, Cliff can tell you, we had the sweat box, which was a walking staph infection,
Lord,
rusty
Lord have mercy.
Box of weights, and we didn't really have strength and conditioning coaches like that. Nutrition based stuff, a plethora of trainers on staff, amazing facilities and things like that. And so they really have all of the tools and stuff to get better faster and easier, honestly, than we had it. But I think that entitlement is a really, really bad thing going around in sports. So I would say that's the biggest difference. And in recruits, depending on the year, it really depends on what I want or what I need for that year. And it's by position. So obviously, if it's a setter, I want them to be able to run a fast offense, but they have to play defense. That's a huge thing and a huge jump, I think, between high school and college. Setters play defense here. And in high school, they don't really make them do that. So it takes a lot more work for setters. So that's like a hard jump. Really athletic is a huge thing. And then a high volleyball IQ, if possible, is what I look for. And then how they act, all the intangibles, honestly, how they are, sweatbox, how they are on the sidelines, if their parents come and hand them a bottle of water, are they throwing it at them? Are they rude? If they get taken out, are they pouting on the sidelines? Are they mad? Are they in tuned and seeing what's going on in the game? I think, that'll ride off somebody scholarship wise. Social media is a huge thing as well. I have an assistant on staff who's like a FBI agent and he can, find anything, see anything.
I already know who you talk about too.
Yeah. He'll find everything and anything. Everybody thinks, oh, it's private or it's this and that. And all it takes is a screenshot from somebody else and there it goes. And so we look for that too. And, that could easily, a kid that is amazing on the court, but if you're not a good person, if you're not a good teammate, then you won't end up here. And that's why I say that was a huge difference. Like I haven't had a bad teammate issue in a long time. Like this past season was the first time in a long time. And I don't suspect that I'd have that problem going in the future.
Yeah, no, that's see, these are gems because I prompted everybody who has a prep, athlete to watch this because you got to know what coaches really do. And I used to coach at the middle school level, also college, but all my college players, they're about my age. So, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. But the last group I had, they're about 21, 22 now. And they just don't know, like, the stuff they put on social media. I can see it, and I don't have a dog in the fight, but people really make dedicated. They'll make a burner account and go follow what you do. Yeah. And they'll see what you get into because reality is you're probably more like what you post. You know, so you can say, oh, that's just social media. Everybody loves to say that, but reality is you're probably more like what you post. And you can't think that people don't covet their program. So they're going to basically do their pre-work so they won't have a bomb blow up in their face, a landmine, as it were, over somebody who showed behaviors like, you might want to think twice about this kid. So y'all really gotta peep game, because these are Jews coming from an actual Division I volleyball coach. Shout out to Coach Ann Learn, says, I'm a girls basketball. Oh, whoa. I'm tripping. We gotta bring Dollar Bill back. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Appreciate you for the $5 super chat. And Learn says, I'm a girls basketball coach and see the portal being used a lot in the basketball side. How is it on the volleyball side? Great question.
Oh, awesome question. It's huge, honestly, in all sports, really. I think, athletes were always able to transfer at will, but it came with a consequence sometimes. So like if you wanted to transfer interconference, you'd have to sit a year or 2 years, depending on the sport. If the same conference or out of conference, something, a stipulation came with it, but you could always transfer at will, and coaches could always let go at will. But now the transfer portal is like a two-way street now.
Absolutely.
And so while people can go, now there's no consequence. You can play automatically. You can go interconference, play for this, same conference. You can go play automatically, out of conference, same division, same everything. And so there's really no consequences either way for doing it. And so it's really huge for all sports, because now if you don't like the culture, you can go. If you're not playing, you can go and play somewhere else, maybe. If you're not starting, you can also transfer automatically and go somewhere else. But it also works for coaches in the same way. If it's not a good culture fit, if you're not, performing, if you're not becoming of what a student athlete at one school is, then you can just get in the portal and find a new home. So I think it's huge in all sports. Honestly, I don't mind it. Just for the simple fact that I do feel like, in a sense, like if you do not like it somewhere and it's not a fit and maybe you made the wrong choice, then you have the opportunity to correct that error. In that sense. Now, I hate it in the sense of just because you're not starting, just because you're not playing, and you know that you haven't worked to do that, why do you think that you're going to go somewhere else with that same mentality and then feel like that you're going to play, And so it's kind of a catch-22 in a sense.
Yeah, it really is. And the way I call it is the great equalizer, because one thing I've been very harsh on, being a former coach at Division I level and player, as we all know, is how, in my opinion, how biased it is. Mm-hmm. Like basically a coach can have all these extra revenue streams. It could get rid of a guy or girl with carte blanche from the, upper entity from the AD, what I'm speaking about. And it's no recourse at all. Now players can kind of do their thing. However, if you are a program jumper, you got to know there's a stigma that comes with doing that. So it's a great equalizer from the stand, because I just hate the fact that a kid could get cut or get, you at the corner of the bench. If you want to go Division I in the program, you got to sit out a whole year. I never liked that. And
right.
You as a former athlete knows.
I'm like, there should be no stipulation. You just, there's a place. There's so many programs, and maybe that just wasn't your fit, and that's fine, but I think in the same sense, athletes got to realize that now coaches can also utilize that, and so in the same sense that they have that freedom, they have to understand that coaches also too have that freedom. It works both ways.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I like to think of things pragmatically. If a coach cuts you, you don't have to sit out. You can go if you're that good, like you think you are. You can go play. If you're that good,
superstar, there's other spots for superstars.
Just saying, man. If you're that good, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem.
True. Yeah, I agree.
Prime Time says she's due for all. See, who's going to give you the love connections? I'm giving you everything, man.
I'm telling you, I appreciate that.
Drop a like, drop a super chat, man.
People, my choice.
Hey, man. I'm giving you everything over here on this channel.
I know, man. That's why I come. You help me, I help you. You know what I mean? Subscribers already know.
And based on that, if you want to hear more of Coach Tacho, she's actually starting her YouTube out, because we talked about this off camera like many a times. Yes. That there's not a big avenue for volleyball. and you want to change that. So Tacho's channel, what's it called? Out of the Shadows? What
Out
it's
of the
called?
Shadows.
So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that, of what you want to do, and then we'll go back to what we talk about.
Okay. Yeah, Cliff's right. He's been talking to me about it for a while, saying, you have the personality to really like get out there and get on YouTube and things like that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to talk about. And he's like, you'll figure it out. Don't worry. And so I was actually on Twitter, and I was looking at all the different Twitter accounts for, football that shines a light on football, basketball, track, baseball, even from an HBCU standpoint. And I realized that there really is not one for volleyball, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, nothing for HBCU. And so I said, you know what, Cliff, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to take HBCU volleyball out of the shadows and bring it to center stage. So I started the channel literally yesterday, but I'm going to get some content going on there and get y'all excited about what's happening with HBCU volleyball, because there's a lot of great things happening despite what is going on right now. There is a lot of great thing happening on all level with HBCU volleyball, and it's time for us to talk about it, because if we won't, who will?
There you go. And shout out to G Boom. You got your first subscriber.
Yeah,
there you go.
Boom, appreciate it. You always supporting though. Always.
There you go. I think it's important, man, because I think no matter what your discipline is, it's important to get your story out, especially when, because in these streets, the HBCU game can get real goofy now, because I think Coach Prime it's been a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
People are more interested in HBCU sports than they've ever been, which is good. That's the goal.
Right. That
is the goal. But then it's kind of like some goofy stuff in the middle of all of it. People who don't understand HBCU culture all the way, and they just report them because it gets you clicks. Mm-hmm. And it's important for people who actually, we put those Shout of Swag Buzz says you put them SWAC hours in, so you know what you're talking about, or the MEAC, or the SIAC, CIAA. You know what you're talking about because you put that work in. And so it's important that people who are actually products of HBCU sports in particular, being able to share insight and perspective, because as you know, not only did we play, we talked to a lot of former alums, we talked to a lot of people involved in it. And so really our opinion comes from a place of experience, actual on-the-job training, as it were.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
On-the-job training for sure. Yeah, and I think it's super important. And I think there's just a lot of volleyball. Volleyball is huge, like right now. It's super huge. And I think that as much as non-African Americans are coaching it and starting clubs for it, the majority of the athletes are actually African American. And
that's cold for white people.
Yeah. And so I just, I really want to filter a lot of these athletes back to HBCUs, especially the top tier ones. And we're already trying to knock down the door with club volleyball and how they view HBCUs and how it is. I mean, just getting in the gym with other D1 programs, like even when they have their camps, is like pulling teeth. And so I think it's just, we need to shed the light on it, on volleyball in particular, because I think all the other sports are getting their shine. So now it's our time. And I think being a product, it's just easier to talk about it. And I want to shed the light on other alums that have came through volleyball programs, and then those that are currently there. And really, shed some of the stigma about HBCUs and volleyball and how it's concerned.
I love that, man, because if I'm being honest, volleyball is not a sport I gravitate towards like that.
Yeah.
Being your friend for since what, 16 years?
Yeah.
I've had no choice but
for me. Yeah. And I appreciate
I've immersed into it. Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm actually good at volleyball. I played in teacher-student volleyball games, and I be killing them.
Everybody says that.
No, I really am. Well, I mean, this is me like late 20s now. I'm late 30s now. I'm probably awful now, but so I'm good at the net though. I'm 6'7". So
yeah, you should be.
I'm good at the net. You know what I'm saying? So, but I say all that to say that it's good when good people, experienced people, talk about it, because even if you're just a generalist in sports, you can appreciate the things. And I think Sir Tice had a great comment saying that her logic and season opportunity is a spot on, wishing her the best, because he's a boxer guy. So he understands that it's all translatable, in the space of sports in general. So shout out to Prime Time. You got another sub. Thank me later. And learn, man.
Hey, tweet that out. You know you got a lot of followers.
Yeah, man. Tweet that out prime time. And yeah, man, you know, hey, Dollar Bill gonna make a whole bunch of appearances on the stream. You know,
Money.
money. Yeah. Money. Yeah. That's crazy. Both of those men are deceased. Man, that's crazy. AJ Johnson and
No,
Brandon
isn't that
Jackson.
crazy?
Salute to both of those.
Cycle of life, right?
Cycle of doggone life. But okay, so Coach Ann Learn says, do you think high school kids would attend less college camps knowing college coaches are getting a lot of kids from the portal now? Man, y'all coming with these fire questions, man. Y'all doing y'all thing today. I gotta say.
You know what? Honestly, I think more will try to go to college camps, because if we're getting kids straight from the portal, where else would a college coach be able to see you and be hands-on if not for their camps? So I think to get in front of them and saying, hey, you got an all-star right here at your camp right now. You don't need to go to the portal for a kid. Could actually work out in their favor. So I think you'll probably see more going to college camps, honestly. With us, club volleyball is a huge thing. So we're always out in the gym at different qualifiers and different club tournaments. And so coaches aren't going to those gyms less. But I will say this, if there are any, high school kids watching, that, your work ethic has to be top tier. And work on your mental game, read books, watch a lot of high level volleyball, right? Get your high IQ up, because the advantage of a kid in the transfer portal is that they've already had experience in the college world. So they understand, even if they're not doing what it takes, they understand what has to happen because they've actually went through it. And so if you could do anything, I would do that. Get into the weight room, get a strength and if you needed to spend extra money, it should be on a trainer, to get you fit. And so they can say, well, this high school kid is there. I don't have to go in the transfer portal. I can get a kid and groom them through my program. So yeah.
Sound advice. And I would add, guys, one of the biggest things, again, if you know a prep performer that's looking, with college aspirations, and when you enter, say you are blessed with it, everybody does that now. Blessed to have an offer from this school. Blessed to have
that is so weird to me. I'm like,
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay, I thought it was just me. I'm like, that's so weird. I'm like, just I need like all these different uniforms and like shit. I'm like, just announce where you're going. Like,
I hate it. I ain't gonna lie, I hate it. I do. I
thought it was just me.
I secretly sit back like a troll on the Billy Ghost Gruff and just, dude, what does that even mean? I'm not gonna lie. I kind of got a thing with gender reveals, and to me, it's kind of gender revealish.
Oh, I'm the same. Oh my gosh!
Just have your kid.
Just have the kid. Have the baby shower, and then have the kid. Like we don't need to have a party for the sex of the kid. I'm the same.
So, I'm a hater. I get it, man. I'm a hater. Whatever. I don't like it. I'm just honest.
We on the same page.
Great question, Ann. Shout out to Leopard Kayla in the building. Leopard Kayla with my backdrop once I move. You saw my phone call I made before this show. I'll be moving in, so Shakayla gonna help me set my stuff up. Another PV alum. Shout out to Shakayla. Between the Game Sports. Y'all sub to my brother. He says, hit that like button. Man, hit the like button if you're not done so already. I'm tripping. I'm not even. I'm enjoying the conversation so much. I'm not doing my due diligence as a host.
In the building.
And as a curator. TC in the building. Yes, sir.
Hey, Timmy Turner.
another PV alum working currently at Alcorn State University, man. Shout out to TC.
On that reservation.
Man, that boy. If y'all have ever been a Lorman, oh my God, man. I'm sorry, TC, close your ears. I don't want to hit on no HBCU on these streams, but Lord have mercy. God bless y'all out there. God bless you. So G Boom say, not G Boom, Primetime says, so here's a link to her channel if you've not got a chance to do that already. So I did make sure I accentuated that. Tony Wolf in the building, PV alum. Yes, sir. PV all day. And tomorrow.
Hey.
You got to love it at the games when somebody break out the random PV chant.
Every time. And, it happens everywhere. One time I was in the airport.
Really?
And you can't resist. You got to say it. You can't leave them hanging.
Indulge. So I love where the conversation has been. And so I got to ask, now we talked about the transfer portal. Actually, I want to talk about one thing, and then we'll get to the elephant in the room. Okay. That's kind of shaking the volleyball HBCU community specifically. But now with the NIL game, and for those who don't know, it's an entity where players can get paid off their own likeliness. We talked about this a lot of times on this channel. Charles O'Bannon, was Ed O'Bannon. He started this a long time ago, and it's here now. I tell people all the time, this video game right here, your boy is on this game. I received no dollars for this.
Zoom that in. Let me see that.
Man, look at NCAA March Madness 2004. Yeah, boys old out here. and you know what? I'm not even saying I moved the needle on that video game, but you know, now you have to get paid off your likeness if you can monetize yourself as far as personal brand building and what have you. So as a coach who watches this live, how do you feel about this new era with the NIL being in place? And you know, just what are your observations?
Honestly, I love it. I don't like when people say, "Oh, well, you got a full scholarship, that's enough." You don't know people's backgrounds. You don't know where they come from. Yes, you may be getting your school paid for, your meals and stuff like that, but in between the 3 meals that the school may, allow you to have, or, the little things, stuff for your house, stuff, washing, your clothes, toothbrush, just keeping up with your general health in general, school is not covering that, And so just because you're getting your school paid for, it does not mean that you cannot make a living. And
Absolutely.
corporations shouldn't be able to make a living using your likeness. So I love that that is a thing, that the NIL is a thing, and that athletes are getting paid for that. I think it is a huge opportunity, honestly, for alums to foster that. We have a lot of alums, I could just speak for PV, who own their businesses. And just wouldn't it be awesome that the athletes at the school that you graduated from are supporting your brand and you get to pay them for it? I think it's a huge opportunity. I think it's great for athletes, and I think that it should continue. I have no qualms with it at all. It hasn't been a huge thing with volleyball. It has been with other sports, but I hope it does.
Well, reality is you guys are a Title IX sport, and it's going to be a slow trickle down. It is, but it's opportunity now. Like you can have girls who just have a certain presence. You mentioned social media earlier. You can parlay that into A, growing the program, and B, growing your personal brand now.
Yeah, from a younger age, you get to
Absolutely
start it early, and how to really, honestly, kind of almost run a business and what to do and how to showcase a business like that. To me, too, is a learning experience, a hands-on learning experience, especially with social media and like TikTok and how viral you can go for anything good, bad,
Absolutely.
or indifferent. Why not do it for yourself? So I think it's a huge opportunity, and I love to see it, because it really kind of slaps people in the face of the people who are like, oh yeah, like you shouldn't be getting paid. You're getting your school paid for. It's a luxury. It's a luxury, but it doesn't cover the in between. It doesn't.
No.
I was that kid. My parents were not there for
Yeah.
me. So I'm leaning on friends, to help me out and get me through. Thank goodness for them throughout my life. But now to have another source of income that is not sanctioned by the school or the NCAA, the NCAA really needs to be restructured anyway. To be honest, for how much they can control. And honestly, I think all this happened way too late. Because think about all the awards and titles that they've garnished because of this very same thing. And now that it's not a rule anymore, what do you do now?
Yeah.
So,
and I think that the point you made is succinct, and it's something that, again, as a former Division I athlete and coach, I say this vehemently: fuck the NCAA, FUGG, fuck the NCAA, because it is so, in my opinion, I ain't talking for Coach Tacho, I'm talking for me. It's so contradictory. People who are purchasers of the product that is the NCAA, they stigmatize these athletes. They be like, "Whoa, let me get a solo mode for this." y'all do this thing where y'all say, "Oh, well, you get a free education, blah 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 blah." Fair enough, but you get, like we led in, where you get a 1 to 1 year renewable scholarship. You don't get a 4-year scholarship, right? Or if you're a JUCO transfer, you don't get a 2-year scholarship. Mm-hmm. It's a 1 to 1 renewable scholarship. So you're not guaranteed it. So if you get hurt, you're a liability to the program. You can get let go. That's just how the game goes, right? Mm-hmm. So it was always goofy to me that coaches can have all these revenue streams. Mm-hmm. Kids, if you so little as sell your jersey to a alumni backer that can compromise your eligibility. If your coach buys you a meal because you are broke,
Yes.
that can compromise your eligibility. As well, Rick Majerus is no longer with us, but he had a situation like that when he was coaching, right? So all these things are in place and to allegedly hold up the purity of sports, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta say this: when I played against University of Texas, I looked at their players' parking lot. I was like, "Them ain't the coaches' cars; those the players' cars."
Yes.
And you mean to tell me TJ Ford at 18 years old can buy a goddamn Benz? You mean to tell me LaMarcus Aldridge can buy a Benz? I'm
Yeah.
riding Chevy S10 back then. My mom paid for it. That bad boy work when it want to.
I'm using my feet, so I get
Come
it.
on. What we
Yeah.
talking about? What
It's
we talking about?
crazy. It was crazy. And then too, like, you know, you brought up a good point about coaches being reprimanded by feeding a kid or kids because they don't have the money, or even giving them rides somewhere, you know, because they can't get there. And it just blows my mind that the NCAA would regulate something like that. And then now here we are on the reverse side of things, and it's like, now you say it's okay, so it's okay. And it's like, no, it's always been okay. You know, so I think definitely the NCAA just needs to be blown up and restructured, to be honest.
I'll keep it going. With Reggie Bush getting get his mama house paid for, right? Cam Newton, dad, getting the best offer, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But don't act like these situations ain't been happening. So people, and I say all that to say people, oh, it's gonna jeopardize the period of the game, start playing players. Newsflash, y'all been playing players.
Yeah.
Paying players.
And that's why I get, like, coaches at like Power Fives and stuff talking down on it. Like, stop. Just
you
stop.
of all people, like when Nick Saban says it, I just want like la.
Yes, that's how y'all getting these top tier players.
Like, come on, man.
And why it's so hard for them to come to HBCUs, because they're like, oh, we don't have all the bells and whistles that y'all have. Well, you know how they got those bells and whistles? They paid y'all. They paid for your mom to move. They got y'all out of poverty to get you here. That's why you're there. Like, let's be real about it.
And your boy Hoop Jargon about to go there. A coach I respect a lot, Rick Pitino. I played against him my junior year when I was at Prairie View. Respect Rick Pitino. He's done a lot for basketball. You are paying 304s to recruit your kids, right?
Not the 304s.
You looking the other way while your assistant, I'll leave his name out the chat. He's a cousin of one of my teammates at Prairie View. But he was facilitating this, and you knew it was going on, but you knew it was good for your brand, your program, which is Louisville basketball. If y'all never been to Louisville, Kentucky, it is arguably bigger than the University of Kentucky as far as the program, like in Louisville.
Yeah. So
people, because Kentucky's in University of Kentucky. I forget what city it is. Doggone it, I'm drawing a blank. But in Louisville, basketball is king. If anybody knows that, shout out to KJ Black from Louisville. So he'll definitely co-sign that. Another PV legend.
Yes, legend for real.
Legend for real. So he's facilitating this borderline brothel kind of thing to get guys to sign.
Not even borderline, a brothel.
hey. A makeshift brothel. I'm using good words there because I got a coach on here, because normally I would go in and say very more direct words, but I'm being good today. So you can let that go. No, it didn't go on. He got fired, disgraced a little bit, but that's been going on, right?
Yeah.
That's how you maintain that pristine program. So like you said, with the Power Five guys who are acting like, oh, it's just this great travesty to the purity of the sports. Bullshit, man. I just cannot say that enough, because I'll give one more light example. One of my guys, Sean Brooks, man, I played with him overseas in Germany. Well, no, Sean Brooks played for Krellsheim. We had the same agent. And he went to Drexel University, little kind of big D1. And he said when he went on his visit to Maryland, I won't say the coach at the time, but when he went on his visit, he was getting $800 handshakes, put it that way, right? That was going on during, the purity era, as it were. So it's one of the worst. worst kept secrets, and I'll say it this way: the movie He Got Game. I know it was an exaggerated experience of a college athlete getting recruited, but
That's really how
it's
what
not.
happened.
That's
Yeah.
how it goes if you're a high profile guy.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Even the low profile guys, you still can
You
get a
get
little
some
small.
type of
Yeah.
type of reflection of that. Yeah, for sure.
Again, without incriminating people, I will say that they were what they call them boost. It's like girls. It's like booster young students who their job was
Their
to
specific purpose.
chaperones. There we go.
Yeah, chaperone.
And now whatever happened in between the margins happened, but it was their job to make sure you had a good time during your visit. And sometimes it doesn't have to be nefarious, but we know. We talking 18 to 22-year-olds. We know what can happen in between those margins.
Yeah.
do I need to really expound on that, right? So when I hear this purity argument, I'm just like, no. Because when you know what really goes on in the trenches, no.
Yeah.
So I'm glad basically the great equalizer, which is the NIL agreement, has taken place. When 4 years ago, it was preposterous when California was the first state to kind of open the idea for that. And now it's a thing. You got Masterpiece Kid getting $1 million. You got Mikey Williams
Sanders working with Tom Brady.
Come on, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It's crazy.
Because what you said earlier is all these kids don't come from privilege, like yourself, like myself. Shoot, man, that extra money we could have helped fortify us with our life earlier, because me and you didn't go pro. I mean, I went pro, but I didn't go NBA pro, right? The money I made overseas wasn't going to change my life.
Yeah.
At least not early. So I'm all for guys and girls getting empowered to build capital early instead of learning how to be a debt slave, which I think, in my opinion, that a lot of college athletes are kind of groomed to be. So again, I'm not speaking for you, I'm speaking for me. So I'm just happy it's balanced and equal. I really am, man. Shout out, we got 16 people live, man. Y'all hit that like button, man. I'm giving y'all this gospel right here from a Division I coach, Tacho, not Cloud. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. I ain't heard that in so long.
Man, I was to the old married name.
Man,
you know, I did the same thing to Coop. Cynthia Cooper, I call her Cynthia Cooper Dyke. She's like, I ain't Cynthia Cooper Dyke no more. Oh, my bad.
Oh, I know she charged you up for that.
Oh, she did. She charged me real good. I said, my bad. Shout out to Cynthia Cooper, man. One of the greatest female basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
So we talk about NIL, we talk about recruiting, we talk about social media presence. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
All right.
You mentioned about coaches having to do what they have to do for their program, which I actually am a proponent of. That's reality. What are your thoughts about social media blowing up over Coach Lucas at Grambling, erasing the whole team coming from Arkansas Pine Bluff to Grambling? What's your reaction to like the sentiment that people are saying that how it's just the worst thing since, I don't know, Kobe Bryant not getting Chris Paul getting traded to the Lakers back in the day?
It was a travesty.
It's a travesty.
I'm still bitter. I'm still bitter. And now we have LeBron, and I'm still bitter about that.
Oh man, don't get me started.
Yeah,
we having a good stream. Don't take me to a dark place.
Yeah, we're the true. We did not want LeBron people. We'll stay true to that. But to stay on topic, that got my palms sweaty. I'm still mad about that. So I hate that it had to blow up on social media the way it is, because we already don't get enough good coverage. But as soon as, something unbecoming per se happens, it always blows up much bigger than the good things. So I do hate that for Grambling, as, being an HBCU. I hate that for them. I hate that for Pine Bluff as well. And I hate it for HBCUs in general, because I've gotten people that I have not talked to in years have texted me about it, have inboxed me about it, have everything, and have tagged me numerous times when I clearly have seen it and have not spoken on it. And it's always been a no comment on my part. But it's kind of a catch-22 with it, because from what I was reading and what I gathered is that a lot of the girls did go to administration, and they felt like administration was not hearing them. And so their next step was social media. And as we know, I've been a proponent like where I have said something and, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, traffic with something that I have said. So I understand that. But you know, me as a person, you know me for years, I've always stuck to things that I have said and I own up to whatever I put out there. So I think in this situation, it's not unheard of for coaches to let go of a number of people. I don't know a situation where it's been the entire team. I've only coached at Prairie View, so I've never gone to another program and said, you guys are not it for me. Let me bring in other people. So I don't know what that is like as a coach, and I don't know what it's like as an athlete. But I have let people go from my program. And I know we talked about scholarships being a renewable thing 1 year, which is a very true statement. I think in this situation, from what I was reading, it seemed like it wasn't going to be a good partnership from the jump from past stuff. And I think coming in as a coach, like you have to take the personal side out of it and be a professional in a way. And even if Grambling and Pine Bluff were huge rivals and a lot of stuff was said throughout the times they competed against each other, once you come into the program, now you're Grambling. You're no longer Pine Bluff, if that makes sense. I don't know if practices were held, not held, and then she decided, no, this is not it. She also has coached against them for a number of years, or for several years, because she was at Alcorn first and then Pine Bluff. So maybe she saw enough there too to decide that. You hate it for athletes as well, you know, in a sense of, you know, especially like if it's a senior and you have to cut a senior because now they're not going to get their school paid for through athletics or something like that. But it is also the nature of the business. It's very unfortunate. With me, when I let go of my athletes, I do it in November. So they have plenty of time to get, you know, at the time it's not portal, but to reach out to other schools. I also help them. I don't ever talk badly. I think in all my years, I think I was one player in all my years of coaching that I've ever said, like, this is just not good. Like, she's just not good. As a person, as a player, as a teammate. But other than that, I assist all of anybody who needs help going other places. So for me, that's how I do it, and I do it early enough. I think in this situation, from, you know, just what you're reading both sides, there's obviously their side, her side, and the truth right down the middle. And so if it was a situation where it was premeditated, that's pretty awful. You know, if it was premeditated. If she came in and they tried out and or did whatever or practice and she decided that she did not want them there, it is a coach's right to release or keep whomever they want. There's no AD in the universe that is forcing any coach to keep any player at any time. That's just that. Now, the tricky thing about the renewable scholarship thing is that technically the NCAA says that you just can't cut somebody just off of pure performance, which is kind of funny in a way because we can get fired, right, when we don't win.
Let me help you. It's not kind of funny. It is horse. You know what? It is
Yeah.
horse. You know what? When
Yes.
you have a performance-based incentives in your contract.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
So yeah, I'm tread lightly there. But the kind of intricate side of it is that we also have team rules, right? And so we also have grade performance and standards that you also have to meet. So for instance, if I have a team rule which you sign and it says no drinking, no smoking, no partying, automatic removal, right? And let's say then you also underperform too, right? That's an easy way of saying, okay, like, I don't want you here, but it's not just about your performance. It's also about these team rules that you broke, you know? So that's kind of, I think in programs that having team rules really protects the coaches, you know, and protects the program. But also it does suck that if you can get fired for losing, why can I not let go of a kid who is underperforming in my program with just that being the base? And I think, unfortunately, Coach Lucas did it so late that it's going to be hard for a lot of kids to go to other programs, this late on money, on
That's a
scholarship
good point. That's a
or
good point.
athletic scholarship money. Some institutions, their admissions process is closed, the deadline for admissions as well. And this is a unique situation, but as a corporate entity, as a university, you don't care in a sense about people's personal, why you're here. All you care about is the deadline. And so unfortunately, letting them know that too late puts them in a very terrible predicament, to try to go and play somewhere else. That's why a lot of times too, like when I go and I do my recruiting talks and things like that, I talk about academics and talk about if you put your academics at the forefront, that is actually the easiest way to get your college paid for. It's not through college athletics. It is actually through academics. And so that is a very important factor because once you get that academic money, you keep it as long as you keep your GPA what it should be. And so that is the easiest way. And that goes on year after year after year. And then you don't have to depend on athletics, and if you were to get injured, your academic money is also still there. So I think it's just an unfortunate situation and that it's blown up as big as it has. I mean, it's national news. Everybody's talking about it. And it just puts both parties in just a really crappy predicament and a really unfortunate situation. I actually wanted one of their kids to actually come into us as a preferred walk-on, who she originally wanted to come to PV her freshman year, but I didn't have money then, and now she's kind of coming back home full circle anyway. And I seen one of their kids went to Alabama A&M and things like that. But I think for the bulk, especially seniors, you don't know if your credits are going to transfer,
Yeah.
and then there's so many just little things with it happening so late. But I do have to speak on the sense of coaches do have the right to release who they choose to release. Now, there's obviously a way to do it in a professional manner, in a timely manner, assisting them with moving on to, the next place or what have you. But I think now that it's national news and just kind of some of the tweets that I've seen and things like that, from some of the former players and things like that, obviously coaches at other schools are watching it and seeing what you're saying and stuff like that. And so there's like these personal digs, about her personal life coming out and all these different things. And then as coaches, you think like, well, if I did want to assist you and I had money for you to come in my program and things didn't go your way, would that be me? Would that now be our program? So, you have to think about that stuff as well. Because I mean, the same thing, and not on a grand scale, but I can speak that when I let go of the girls that I let, a couple of their parents were up in arms about it, and I stuck to my guns though, because what people don't see on the outside is the player that we see every single day. Right.
Absolutely.
And
Tabernacle Church.
they don't see that. And then on top of that, their daughters are telling their parents half truths and whole lies.
There you go.
And which distracts the parents and even the athlete themselves from the actual point, which is we stat everything. Stats are readily available for everyone to see. And so if no coach is trying to lose on purpose, no coach is purposely game after game, day after day, sitting a superstar on the bench. Nobody wants to do that because nobody wants to lose. So when you go and you're not telling your parents that, yeah, I show up every day to practice, but I go half-ass, I don't go 100%. She's always on me because I'm lazy. My teammates are on me because I'm lazy. When I'm not playing, I'm on the sideline and I'm, sulking and I'm, not cheering on my teammates. Like you're not seeing all these things that we see every day. And when we say you're not a part of this culture and this brand and that we're trying to build and trying to get better, because when you look at it, for me personally, this year has been our only down year in a number of years. Like when I first started coaching, we were taking a lot of L's, weeding people out, getting the right mix, me learning and growing as a coach. And then for, the last 3-4 years, like we've been really good and really competitive and almost there for that championship. And so you would have to think, well, if I haven't changed anything and we went down, so far, what happened? And so people are not understanding what we deal with as coaches every day. And I know a lot of athletes, talk about the mental health thing, which is a huge thing, but it's huge for coaches too, because we're having to balance these 20 personalities, not just coaching them, on the court or the field or whatever, but also trying to make them productive people throughout, their time here. And it's this constant push and pull, if you're a bad, you just, as coaches, I mean, you've coached, so you understand what it is to have bad teammates, people that don't want to work hard. You have a group of 20, but only 5 people are like working hard every day and really trying to do it. And other people showing up lazy, or other people blaming everybody except holding up the mirror to themselves and saying, I know that I really didn't do everything that I should have done. And really saying, I know why she cut me. It wasn't because of anything else. It was me. I know why I'm no longer part of this program. But instead, people like to point the finger, and shift the blame. And that's not the reality. It is a business, and it's the business to win. And if we can get fired for that, we have to move around the necessary pieces to do that. And we have to establish a culture. And maybe that includes your kid, and maybe it doesn't. But these conversations are not suddenly at the end of the year, we're having a conversation. Like, no, we've been having this conversation since the beginning of the year. I kid you not. But I think sometimes athletes, because of the entitlement, they call our bluff, and it's like, you don't understand. It's like 1% of kids or something like that go like even D1, and I think maybe 2 or 3% that even go and play past high school. And so it's an opportunity, and I think a lot of times athletes take it for granted. And then when it just hits you in the face, it's like, man, I'm no longer doing what I love to do simply because I did not put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because I wasn't coachable. Simply because I want to push the blame on someone else. And or when you're calling your parents, they're telling you lies. Oh, you should be playing. You should be starting. You're better. If you were better, you would be playing. Like, it's not, it's that simple. It really is. But like in my program, you have to work. And I don't like people that don't work. I've worked my whole life. I was that kid that came to JUCO. Everybody played club but me. So that was the first time in my life that I did not start, that I did not play. Barely.
I'll say this too. I didn't play AAU like most of my teammates as well.
I did nothing. Yeah. So you understand. So
absolutely.
My volleyball IQ was not high. I was just the athletic kid who played a bunch of sports and could hit the crap out the ball. And I could have transferred. I could have said the coach hated me. He hated everybody. But I could have said he hated me. He doesn't like me. I need to go somewhere else. I could have did all that. But you know what I told people? I'm not as good as everybody else right now, but I will get there.
There you go.
And I will work my butt off throughout the year. And I will work my butt off in the spring. And I will start next year. And that's exactly what happened. And I brought that same mentality when I got to Purview. Me and Stiggy, she can tell you this, Crystal Stigler, PV alum, can tell you that we told Coach Pete, we worked as hard as we did, but I said, I'm going to win you a SWAC championship. I promise you that. But that,
and I got to say with Stiggy went to high school with me. Mm-hmm. And so we went to college together as well. I was a volleyball manager, actually. So I saw Stiggy in high school and then in college. And so, yeah, Stiggy was athletic as you know what. Basketball, not so much. But she
but volleyball, yeah.
I can vouch. I can vouch all the way with this story.
Yeah, and she went to JUCO first as well. And I think that helped when we got to PV, because from there we got, we understood, the work ethic, obviously, but then we had the volleyball IQ that we got in those 2 years there to bring it here. So it's not like I'm a coach who hasn't worked, who played all my life, had it easy, and now I'm coaching these kids. Like, no, I've been there. I understand what it means when you're working your butt off every single day and you're still not playing. You get it, but it pays off eventually. But a lot of people don't want to go that. They don't want to go to that, do that grind. They don't want to be in the trenches. And you have to do that. And you have to stay there to be successful and to stay on a roster and to keep your scholarship and to start and to be good. Like, you have to put in the work. And I think this past season, that was not the case. And so I cannot speak for what Chelsea saw when she got there, Coach Lucas saw when she got there. I can't speak on any of the girls and what they have, accomplished, not accomplished, or anything. I only see them across the net. I don't know the day to day. I just only wish that she would have told them earlier so that they would have the opportunity to go and move on, by choice and not out of, this type of situation.
Necessity.
Yeah.
I love that whole preamble you had, because it just was, again, I use the word succinct a lot on this stream, but it's intact. And I think people need to hear these conversations straight from a coach, so you don't get so overzealous about bad results when you don't know the minutia of how those bad results are contrived.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, you don't know these work ethics of these kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how bad their attitude is. You don't know how they don't work hard in practice. Raise your hand. I was a non-work hard guy, but I was so smart. Like to your point, when I got to Prairie View, my IQ was very high.
Mm-hmm.
I knew because here's who's gonna put you on a story. Before I do my personal story, I gotta say this, y'all. If y'all enjoying this content, and y'all are, because y'all staying on here, y'all hit the like button, please.
Y'all.
Hit the subscribe button, please. If you want to hit the Cash App, man, it is hashtag money sign C Franks 11. I mean, everybody, I'm so trained to say that, and I say that because if you want to support the product that is Hoop Jargon, if you want to put something in there, that's cool. If you want to hit the super chat, that's cool. I don't shy away from that at all, because everybody who knows, when I look at people's pages I patronize, I always super chat. Like, I wanted to, if I like what you're saying, I like your content.
Engaging.
I do want to, for real though. I like to support what you're doing, because this is easy, but it's hard at the same time. It's hard to work up enough care about to do these streams. That's why I want to say that. Also, if you not have done so, guys, y'all subscribe to Tacho's new page. Coming out the shadows. Out of the shadows. Y'all look it up, man, because she's gonna talk more about her. And you see her, she has a championship mentality. And the problem is, in sports, everybody does not. Everybody has ulterior motives to be who they are and still use the benefits of their natural skill. And so it's good to hear like perspective of, yeah, you got a lot of natural skill, but you got to put some work in as well. Mm-hmm. And I say it all the time, coming from a guy who's talented, who didn't work hard as I probably could have. I saw a lot of people surpass me because their hard work was better than my talent.
Yeah.
In the eyes of a coach. Right. So I think this is paramount. Is tantamount for you guys getting the stuff on. Shout out to Corey Dixon, another PV alum in the building. Corey.
Hey, Diddy.
Yeah. See Diddy in the building. B Pat says basketball skills, SMA volleyball. Yeah. B Pat went to PV too, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Brendan?
Yeah, shout out to B Pat in the building as well. Loyal Hoop Jargon member. So I do want to address a few things. So we went over so like, subscribe to me and Tacho's page. And this is coming full circle, because we talked about sports being a privilege, and it is. And I'm a big advocate for the athlete. I really am. But at the same time,
it's a huge privilege. And that's what people like. They really do not understand that, like, especially getting your school paid for through athletics. And especially with like Prairie View, because, and I can't speak for everybody else's budget, but it is a wonder that we have even been competitive over the last like 3-4 years, because we're actually underfunded. Like the NCAA gives us 12 scholarships. We only have 8. So the fact that we made it to a SWAC championship, the fact that we lost 2 games to go, before going to the championship, back-to-back years, the fact that we were even the top, 2 seed a couple of years in a row, like the fact that we're even doing that with 8 scholarships and everybody else has 12 is a wonder. And people don't understand that side either. The push and pull of having 8 scholarships a year and filling a roster of 20 kids and staying competitive. And people don't understand that. So of course they're like, oh, well, you're not winning, or you're not doing this, or you have these, walk-ons and you're needing them to do this. And I'm like, I need preferred walk-ons to keep my gym competitive. Because if I could only go out and get who I could get on money, it would be 8 people. 8 in a sport that you need at least 6 there. And so to carry a roster of 18 to 20 kids is a huge thing. So there's a lot of kids playing and doing the exact same thing that scholarship kids are doing or supposed to be doing. And they're either getting paid academically, loans, maybe some financial aid, so
grant action. Yep.
Yeah, so people don't understand, like, Alabama State's of the world, they're fully funded. Jackson State, fully funded, so they can go. And then, like, we're inhibited by how many out-of-state kids we can get, So I'm trying to get I have a pipeline now I just established to Puerto Rico, but I can still only bring in 2 or 3 of them because I'm inhibited by waivers and other schools aren't. So people don't have
It's a
literally
lot that goes to it. Yeah, absolutely.
so
I
much. It's
think
so
that's
much.
a great point. And shout out to Fly Guy West, man. He was one of my teammates at Stephen F. Austin. So anything I do on these streams, I'm no cap. So if I'm ever embellishing what I was,
Please
guys
tell
like
me.
that
I love to call them out.
they would. And I what's funny, man? YouTube is full of people who kind of embellish things about their life.
I think it's the internet.
Because well, fair enough. But in YouTube, I guess because I'm on this. I'm in this space, and it really can get a little goofy. So one thing I pride myself on, like, hell, this is my life, and so I know too many people. So if I was on here saying some reckless stuff, somebody be like, man, you ain't do that. So I like the fact that my boy D-Cuz is on here. A guy I looked up to. He was a junior when I was a freshman. All these stories I tell about me being a freshman, he'd know I'm not lying because I keep it G about what I was about.
So they have to deal with your terrible work ethic.
Yeah, I didn't know how to work hard. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know I was. He never say I wasn't super athletic. I had a 40-inch vertical. I was skinny as hell. I just didn't know how to be a Division I athlete. I just didn't know until I had to see it every day. And when I saw it every day, I started to pick it up. I was like, dang, I remember. So I give SFA a lot of credit, man, because if I could compare it to my experience at Prairie View, it was so far ahead, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So when we do, every Saturday before the season, we did like scrimmages. We had actual NCAA referees come. And I just remember, like, I was super athletic, but I couldn't go when we went like scrimmage, like a real controlled scrimmage, I couldn't go like past like 2-3 minutes without being gassed.
Because you weren't that in shape, right?
Because the college speed is
so much
crazy.
Different. And it's the same with volleyball. It's different.
And people don't even know about stuff like that.
I understand that. I'm like, it is so much faster. You have hands in your face all the time now instead of all this real estate to hit the ball.
Absolutely.
But it goes to your point of you made a decision. You decided that you were going to do what you needed to do to be successful, right? Like you could have said, no, I'm not going to get used to the college speed. No, I'm going to not work hard for the rest of my life. No, for the rest of my collegiate career, what have you. But you decided that you wanted to do what it took. And there's a lot of athletes that do not.
They don't, because they don't understand work. And you mentioned being a preferred walk-on. That's what my situation was at Stephen F. Austin. I was a preferred walk-on. So I had to come in and prove myself. In my opinion, I thought dunking on somebody was proving myself. No. Proving yourself is being able to guard from full court. Proving yourself is knowing how to bounce out.
Get in that trap.
Come on, you feel me? Proving yourself is knowing how to hedge a high pick and roll. Proving yourself is learning. We had a drill called continuity. It's the hardest. Man, I wish some more SFA people. It's the hardest thing ever. That's proving yourself. Every day we also had we had the running in between the workouts we had. And so you earn running from like taking charges, doing. I see. There we go. So because it was a learning experience for all of us, but no cap, none of your stories at all, bro. And again, if I'm capping, because is an outspoken guy, he would tell me if I was like, nah, you embellishing, bro. Like I had to learn from them because you came in from Paris Junior College, right? I think he played with the guy. It's a funny backstory. Dedrick played with Dietrich. He played with the guy Carlton Dotson, that was the guy who turned off the TV of Patrick Dennehy at Baylor. Okay. So D-Cuz played with him in JUCO. So, he had that, man, he's one of the most athletic dudes we had in our program. So I'll just say that you are on point with saying you need preferred walk-ons. You need all these things. These things make your program, right? And again, this is a privilege to play Division I sports. And even like you said, when a player does leave, as a coach in good faith, you're supposed to help them get somewhere. And I had a guy named Rennie Bailey. He played at Louisiana Tech with Karl Malone. So Coach Bailey tried to help me get somewhere after I left Stephen F. Austin. I quit the team around Christmas time. It was around Christmas time. I just been 18, little dumbass. But he was trying to help me get to Southern University. And at the time, the legendary Ben Jobe was there. But Ben Jobe just got fired. And the assistant coach wanted me, but he was just like, I trust Coach Bailey's opinion. I want to have you here. I just don't know if I have a job because Coach Coach Jobe, who famously beat Georgia Tech in the first round of the NCAA finals. In the NCAA tournament, 1994. He's an older guy too. So he basically was, he was done.
Yeah.
So long story short, I didn't go to Southern. That's actually where I was supposed to have gone to Southern, because their coach Joe got fired and the assistant, he just didn't have the clemency to hire me. To bring me in as a recruit. So I went to JUCO for 2 years. Then I went to Prairie View, which I don't begrudge it at all. Like I loved every second I was at Prairie View A&M University. So, and obviously that's right outside the H where I'm from. My mother, aunties, cousins all went to Prairie View. So it worked out the right way, but I was supposed to have been a Southern Jaguar, but it just didn't work out that way. Yeah. So, but all those things work together as in a program. Again, I want to tie it back to what you're saying is, and it's stuff that people don't give credit to coaches for. When you go and help people after, and nobody says, "Hey, thank you, Coach Tacho, for helping me get to here." Nobody says that.
Yes, it's a lot. Like even like people don't understand. Like I say, like people talk mental health, with athletes, but coaches need it too because we're also they're home away from home. Where regardless of what product they're bringing out on the floor, they still have their personal lives that they're dumping on you. Absolutely. As well, that you're trying to help them wade through, that their parents don't know about because they're young women, and they're not kids anymore. So they're coming to you and, instead of their parents, and just all the stuff that we have to deal with. And then knowing like, okay, even if I have to cut this person, like you said, in good faith, I'm still going to help you go somewhere if you need it. I'm not going to, unless it's like a good coaching friend of mine, and you're just a really bad, just teammate person, like you're not going to develop their program at all, and that's only happened once. Everybody else, hey, yeah, she's this and that, just wasn't a good fit here, and I just keep it at that. And I've helped people, but most of the time I would say like when I've cut girls, not very many people actually leave PV. They actually stay, go to school and graduate. Volleyball just, wasn't for them. But my conversation about work ethic.
Hold on, I gotta stop you here.
What?
Because that is reality. You can, like you said earlier, you can be naturally good at volleyball. And it's something that you've been doing, but your heart ain't in it. I'll give a story. I'll keep his name out of this. One of my athletes I had in 8th grade. I know his mother. She could be watching the stream. She went to Prairie View. He came to PV, and he wanted to play football initially. So I talked to KJ at the time. KJ, y'all know KJ Black. He currently works for the Los Angeles Rams, formerly at Prairie View. He's a Prairie View Hall of Famer. He won a championship in 2009 as our quarterback.
Records.
Set records. Coached at Prairie View. Coached at FAMU last year. Now he works for the LA Rams. And so I'm going to link up with him shortly, as a matter of fact. But I hollered at KJ like, yo, I got this kid. I know he's a good kid. Very stoic. Not a problem. Very athletic. And I had him just, because he was a preferred walk-on situation. But he just decided after a little minute, I don't want to play college football no more. He still goes to Prairie View now. I think he's a junior now. Sometimes it
just happens.
You ain't got the chops for it.
Yeah,
the chops.
Yeah,
but you're still going to enjoy college,
and it's fine. And I tell people all the time. That's why I say, like with athletes, I'm like, go somewhere where you love the culture of the school, because sports are not promised. Life happens. That's what I tell them. Life happens. And you still want to be in a great environment. And PV's an awesome school. So that's why a lot of girls stay there. But my conversation, honestly, about the work ethic and 100%, and if you don't like it, you're not going to want to play for me. I have that on recruiting visits. I don't do bells, whistles. I give them the real. And you know me, that's me in real life. I have that same conversation. And so at the end, when I'm cutting a kid because of their work ethic, I tell them, I had this conversation with you. I don't know why you got here and thought it was going to be different. I had this conversation with you. I tell every athlete, if your work ethic is trash, if you're lazy, those are my 2 things. You will hate it here, because that is the standard for me as a coach. So when we get to the end and it's just like this shock, and then, oh no, but I can't. Like almost everybody, I can tell you this, that I have released from my program has begged me to stay. That's not what they're telling their parents. That's not what they're telling social media. But they have begged me to stay. And I'm like, if it's so horrible here and it's, and you just hate it so much and you hate me so much, why are you sitting here right now begging to stay here? And this is scholarship and non-scholarship kids, because at the end of the day, you did not do what you should have done to stay. And that's just it. And I've never cut anybody who gave 100% that performed. Like, no, it's, what you did and didn't do. And it is something that you have to love and be passionate about, because who wants to wake up at 5 a.m. to do weights and run and dive on the floor and go to practice?
I mean, nobody.
If you don't love it. Yeah. And that's why people get burned out. And that's the kind of thing with club volleyball. It starts so early. They're 6, 7, 8 years old starting volleyball. By the time you get to me, you're burned out. You got 11, 12-year-olds with knee problems, shoulder problems, because they start so early. And so I get it, but it's a two-way street. It's a revolving door. It's just what it is.
Man, my man's what's that dude name? He was a 90s R&B guy. He had a reggae voice. Wasn't me. Who's that? No. See, now I gotta look it up.
I'm like, who got a reggae voice? Let me
see. I know I'm dropping the ball right here. He had a song that no guarantees. Ain't no guarantees. What's that man's name?
Oh my gosh! I hear this song in my head now. Somebody help me out. Somebody's gonna.
Yo, come on, brain.
I'm saying right now.
Chico the Bars.
Yes.
Chico the Bars.
That was gonna bother me. I'm so mad I didn't know that. Oh, we would have failed on Family Feud. That's okay.
Man, for real though. Like, for the life of me, I want to say freaking. Yeah, I can't say who I want to say. Dang. The dude who did it wasn't me. Shaggy. I want to say Shaggy, but like, no, it wasn't Shaggy.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can see better than Shaggy. So I'm like, nah, it's Shaggy. Yeah. But no, like Chico the Bar song is agriculture, what we're speaking about, because, dude, like, we again, it's the common theme of this whole stream is no guarantees. It's a 1-to-1 renewable. You may not, you may find out you don't love volleyball like that. You don't love football like that. You don't love basketball like that. So what else are you good for in this world? Because reality is you're not going professional in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
You probably won't be a coach. You probably won't get paid for it.
Yeah.
You probably won't play pro beach volleyball and make good money in this very niche market that is, right?
Yeah.
You're going against 6'5" girls who went to UT, right?
Yeah.
You got to be honest about what you are.
And I think the issue is they don't want to be honest with themselves. So when they hear honesty, it's like, oh my gosh,
it's off-putting. Yeah,
travesty, and it's like, I've been honest, I can speak for myself, but I'm honest from the beginning. I'm honest throughout the season. I'm honest, in our one-on-one meetings. I'm honest in the team meetings, and, and there's that honesty factor there. But at some point you have to hold up the mirror yourself. But when you don't do that and it comes from other people, now it's so harsh and it's like, this is the reality, and for us to, as coaches, to have to tell somebody, you really don't love this. Like you say, you love it. Mm-hmm. It's like, how are you going to tell me I don't love it? And it's like, because of the way you show up, something that you truly love to do, you don't half-ass it. You don't, you put in the work, you do whatever it takes, and on our level, because there's no, really professional level afterwards, it is just off of the love. When you're in high school and club, you're playing to, get your school paid for or get, a college coach to see you. So you're going all out. And I always ask them, what happened to that? Well, I know what happened. You don't really love it. You're really not that passionate about it.
Yeah.
Now you're going to graduate and get off your parents' couch.
Yeah.
Adult, and you don't really love it, because if you did, I wouldn't have to put the fear of God in you to work hard for something that you told me that you loved and that you were passionate about, So it's coaching though.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give a little pushback to that, because that is fundamentally correct. I would argue that most kids, most people 30 years old and above, don't know what the hell they want. And so if we put this in a vacuum, the reality is you as a young high school athlete, you see life all the way up to about 22. After 22, it's just like
the roaring 20s.
I'm not in college no more. Like I gotta like work.
Yes.
I can't be a millionaire. Like that's not how it works, because as silly as that sounds, the system sets you up to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I say that? Because now I'm glad that one of my teammates, Chris Gaines, his brother played overseas, millionaire. He's from Houston like me. He went to Klein Forest High School. I went to Eisenhower. School's not far apart. Chris knew he was going overseas after Prairie View. To me, it's like it was kind of a possibility, but his confidence kind of matriculated to me. So I was like, oh well, shit, if Chris going, I'm going, which it happened, right? But my stats wasn't like it was a locked thing that I was gonna go, but that made me not only work hard on the court, it made me work hard to market myself. And I talked about this in the speech I made at the Management Meetup in Atlanta, that I marketed myself. Like once I finished up, I had a few guys come to me about attending the camp. It's like, well, hey, we look at your stats, and if you played more minutes, you'd average more points. You were very efficient. So I was like, yeah, I was efficient. Goddamn. But I parlayed that into me putting more work in as far as me promoting my personal brand. And I got myself overseas. And once I was overseas, they see I could play. It was no big deal then. You know, it was all good. I think a lot of players, they don't understand what next level looks like, because it seemed like you can do it until you start playing, and then it's like, oh shit, I don't know.
Way more than I bargained for.
It's a bit off more than you chewed off more than you can bite off, and a bit off more than you can chew rather. And that's just reality, and it's unfortunate that you learn that lesson at such a pivotal point in your life. Mm-hmm. Whereas you really got to make a life decision from 18 to 22 if you go the collegiate route, because you can mess around and be a generalist, and you can get this meaningless degree that you really can't monetize like that, or you don't even know what field you want to go into yet, right?
So many decisions.
So many decisions. I remember as a freshman at Stephen F., they asked me at orientation, so yeah, what do you want to major? I'm like, basketball? What the hell you mean, major?
Basketball? What are you talking about? A major?
as a walk-on here. But I knew I was 6'7". I knew it was no doubt in my mind I would be on the basketball team. But realistically, think of a 5'10" guy who thought the same way I thought. Yeah. Which is no way, no how you getting on the basketball team. Reality is, or let's say the 6'2" guy who may have snuck in like me, right? And I can name a guy. I'll leave his name out the stream. He didn't finish playing college basketball, to your point of what we just talked about. I did, because I'm 6'7", and I worked hard. I'm 6'7". I will take that. I will understand my reality is that I am the height of less than 10% of men on this planet. So, I had a more leg up than other guys. Mm-hmm. But the reality is a lot of people who didn't hit the genetic lottery per se, they got the same type of mentality. I thought I would go to Texas A&M and go kill, and I learned I ain't close to Texas A&M talent. You couldn't tell me that at 17, 16, right? So it's in my opinion, life in sports as those lanes interweave is a constant reminder of reality. And if your parents don't give you the foresight, aka the game,
that's a huge thing too, because parents are definitely not giving the game. Ass. So, and when you think about it too, like the fact that like college sports could literally like just beat people down so bad because they just didn't get the reality before, from their parents of, having to work and, have that work ethic and getting up every day and being disciplined and all that different type of stuff. They didn't get it before they got here. So college sports is like, just slapping them around, like, just winding them up in a tornado, and you're just thinking like, man, it's just sports, Yeah. But, it's unfortunate. And so that's where, we step in as coaches, but then, we're the good guy, the bad guy, the counselor, so many avenues, and so many hats that we have to wear as coaches. And, I wish more parents, honestly, especially ones that have parents that are around and, and active in their lives, that they, won't shelter them and, have them show up entitled, and that they show up with this work ethic mentality, but that's just not the reality of, athletes these days, to be honest, as a whole, unfortunately.
It is. I mean, because I always like to level set sports on this channel because I'm a player advocate over coach advocate. I just am, because I understand as the NCAA or sporting entities as a whole, the setup, you as the player, you got a lot of burden on you. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of adulation when you do well, but if you don't do well, you kind of just sweep you on the rug, baby. Step over the bodies, and I've seen many of dudes who I played with who were good. They were really good, probably better than me in a 5-on-5, just open court standpoint, but in a controlled atmosphere. I prepared my whole life to play Division I basketball. I was always very cerebral. And then when my athletics caught up, I just know that I guess I didn't have individual game that would translate, but when it was an actual game, when the popcorn popping, you put Cliff in out, you ain't got to worry about me.
Yeah.
I know what to do. You can say whatever you say about my career. Anybody who can pull me up, my film, my stats, you can't never say I was lost out there. Now, I would be lost. Now, one thing I will admit, I was very bad at remembering plays. Like I couldn't remember a play forever.
Your memory is still terrible now, so I can believe that.
I tell my girl that all the time. Like my memory is just horrible.
It is bad. Tell Marty not told it against you.
Hey,
Your memory is terrible.
My memory is just bad. But what I do know is, like, again, I had a high IQ. I know floor balance. I know, like, okay, 3 dudes over here. I need to get to where the empty space is.
Yeah.
So it still can roll. You know what I'm saying? So.
But that's a difference maker too, that you could even do that, like, well, I know I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to, fill this gap over here. But like in volleyball too, that's why I say like the IQ is very low, even with ones that pay tons of money for these clubs and they play, but they're not actually teaching them. And so when they get to me, you would think, man, you played 12 years of volleyball and you don't know like these simple, intricate things, for volleyball. And it's the same, with every sport, which is crazy, so that's why I say high volleyball IQ is not as common as you would think.
It's really not. I mean, because who knows how you were taught to play, and that's just a reality. Any sport,
yeah.
When you taught to play the cheating way, when you taught to play the fundamental way, and those things show up. I'll never forget.
Time too.
There you go. And shout out to King Dave in the building, man. Another PV alum. I gave you a shout out earlier about giving me a picture.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. King Dave in the building. But when I was in 7th grade, I made 18 in basketball, and it wasn't big because I was like 5'5". I was 5'5", 100 pounds. I remember this vividly. I made 18, but not because I was a shrimp, man. I was a shrimp. I wish I could find that picture. It's hilarious, man. So I made 18 because I knew how to set screens. I knew how to space. And because I just really sat back and just looked at like everybody else was on 18. They could, back then in 7th grade, like touching rim was like damn near dunking back then, touching backboard.
So
I could do none of that.
You were watching though high level at that time for you. That would be high level basketball from like where you were, and that's what a lot of kids don't do either. Like I tell my girl, like, how often do you watch like Big 12, Pac-10 volleyball? Well, not very much. You should be watching high level volleyball so you can understand the game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that the intangibles is what a lot of people don't come with.
And that's why I think I beat a lot of people at. And then once my athleticism caught up, it was
a gold mine from there.
It's a gold mine. Like I would just embarrass people, like catching off the rim and dunking on people, and that was my thing. Once that caught up with my mental faculties, and I think a lot of players, the mental faculties never come. And I think if that's your reality, it's very hard for once you meet up with people who are equally athletic as you or better and know the game better than you.
You get left.
You're not gonna play because you look bad when you. But nobody talks about this stuff though.
Yeah,
it's just well at this school, my son did this, and this. Cool.
That's great.
Everybody got a story like that on the team.
Yes,
everybody has a story.
That's why you're here. That's how you got here.
You think you was LeBron or LeBron or James? You thought you was the chosen one? No. 14 other people with a similar
I'm like,
story to you.
everybody was good. That's why you're here. You were good
Absolutely.
where you were. That's why you're here. But how do you become good here? How do you become that same, six rotation kid, that could bang balls, that be able to score? How do you do that here? And people don't like to listen to what it takes to get there. And they don't want to do what the next person is doing because they think they're already there. And it's like, no, nobody's resting on laurels here. You can't. Doesn't matter what you did last year.
I'll keep it a buck. One of the easiest things to do is make excuses in this world. So if it's not working out, coach got his favorites. Coach got his favorites. That's easy. It's easy to do that because it's effortless. It's effortless to make excuses. And we, in my opinion, we live in a society where that's acceptable. That's the norm. The protocol. Yeah. That's what you do. And I give a shout out to my mother and my father. They didn't let me get away with stuff like that when I was a kid. When a teacher ever said I did something wrong, they believed the teacher off rip. Like it never was, I'm gonna go to school and tell the teacher off. Never. Mm-hmm. So I knew that because I know that I've been a smart person a long time in my life. And I know how to manipulate weak-minded people.
Yes, you do.
So I do.
Yeah.
My parents ain't never let me get away with that. They never said that, no. They knew I was smart ass. They knew I would talk out of turn because I thought I was smart. Funny story. So I'm from Houston, as most people know. Acres Home to be exact. I went to a nursery school called A to Z Academy. I remember being 4 years old telling my mama that the owner didn't know how to run the daycare right. 4 years old. This kind of shit I used to say at home, right? So, my mom knew what she raised. My dad knew what he raised. So that they never let me get away with that shit when it came to me getting in trouble at school in whatever capacity that is. It's like, nah, nope, you sitting out. Nope, you're not playing. They knew the way to discipline me is say I couldn't play YMCA ball or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, you can't play. And that was worse than punishment to me because I wanted to play sports. That was always my thing. And so I think a lot of parents not understand their kids fully because kids are manipulative. They really are. They learn as babies. You learn if you cry, you're running into a room to help me. They know this shit. Mm-hmm. Kids are not dumb. They're not dumb. They're very intelligent.
I started with Tyson so early. 10 months. First time he snatched the bottle. I didn't laugh about it. No, I'm going to let you know that ain't acceptable. And that's why a lot of times people go through these terrible twos because all the stuff that you thought was funny when they were 10 months a year and all that, you were laughing about it. Now the joke's on you because now you got an uncontrollable kid. That wasn't going to be me. 10 months, no. You snatch a bottle, I'm letting you that. No, I have a stern face. That's what but if I would have laughed about it, 2 years old, now he's in the grocery store throwing stuff around. And that's just not how it works. And that's just like with volleyball. That's why when they come on the visit, I let them know what the atmosphere is going to be. I always tell them, I'm not this nice. I'm not this nice.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I tell them that I'm not this nice. You got to work. And if you're work ethic and you're lazy, like you're not going to like it here. And I think it's just very important to prep people for what it is. And I think as parents, we just have to do a better job at prepping our kids.
Yes.
For reality.
Yes.
You're not going to get your way. You got to work, unless you're like your trust fund baby or something, and you just, or a Kardashian or something, you're going to be rich forever. Kids and kids and kids and kids going to be filthy rich, but for the majority of us, you're going to have to put in work and you're going to hit walls, that you're going to have to, literally take a hammer to get through, when really you need something much bigger, you got to be in the trenches and stuff like that. And I think we just have to prepare our kids, and they're less prepared, I think, than they ever have been, in my opinion.
No, that is a excellent point. And when I was a teacher, we call that classroom management. So what I learned when I became a quote unquote master teacher, first 2 weeks, I'm not laughing at none of y'all goofy stuff y'all do. I'm gonna be a jerk because you learn the rules of the you learn the parameter of what I will put up with.
Yes.
Because I'm naturally gonna win you over because I have a personality. I'm gonna win you over.
Same. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna win you over. The problem was when I first started teaching, I tried to lead with that. Mm-hmm. So that gave a perception of just all right, well, shoot, it's a cool
You
class
gotta
right
do that
here.
in here. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that. And I taught core class. I taught English when I was doing that. Cause I would make my kids go outside and do wall sits, and they thought it was just hilarious to do wall sits. But then I learned, I was like, nah. Yo, get out. Are you laughing? Bye. And I wouldn't. So the trick is you don't write them up.
Mm-hmm.
You let them go stand outside for 30 minutes. And you conduct class. I'm like, listen, man, I would write you up because I know everybody else does that. I don't want to see you in trouble. But what you're not going to do, you're not going to, and I would say as a teacher, you're not going to show your ass in my classroom. When you get your own classroom, when they say Mr. whatever, Mrs. whatever, you can do what the hell you want to do.
Run it how you want.
You're not doing it in my class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, so it's your choice. You want to go to the principal office or you want to come back here and act like you got some sense? No, I got some sense. Then it's done.
Yeah.
You got to learn to do that. And you don't see teachers, if y'all listening, don't write them up. Because if you write them up, they learn the hierarchy of getting written up and then they don't care no more.
Yes.
The really bad ones. Or they just know they know the level of punishment. But if you keep it like you keep yourself on their side, but you set boundaries. Yeah. Like, yo, I'm here to teach. They here to learn. If you don't want to learn, no problem. Don't you disrupt my class. And do whatever you want to do as far as you doing stuff by yourself, but don't you dare disrupt my class. If no, you got to go. That's how you do that stuff. It's called classroom management. And I'm sure what you're teaching as far as rearing parents, y'all have to do that to y'all kids because if you don't.
And then when we do it, they just don't know how to handle it. And it manifests in so many different ways, because they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you. I say it all the time. I said, players, students do the same thing. Y'all tell y'all's parents half truths and whole lies.
Yeah.
And that's it. Nothing about what's really going on. And that's why I don't talk to parents. Unless you want to host us, unless you're giving money, or unless you're sending me a recruit. I don't talk to you about your kids' playing time. You talk to them. I'm not, moving stuff around, shaking stuff up, because you can do that in high school and club. If you don't like something, if you don't like the coach or they have to play, you complain enough, stuff can get moved around. You donate enough money, you're playing. That doesn't happen in college. I'm not talking to parents about that. You talk to your daughter. She's a grown woman. And you can't, even with her schooling, like you can't get access to her grades. She has to literally sign off for you to do that. So you're not going to come talk to me. Just like if a parent is messing up on their job, your daughter's not calling their boss, talking on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work like that. So parents, it really starts there. And, they're actually a majority of the problem, really. And just not preparing them and not prepping them, for this potential lifestyle in a sense.
Well, yeah, because reality is that they didn't experience it themselves. And that's the meat and potatoes of what this looks like as preparing future college athletes is they don't have the game. And the ones that do have the game, going back to T.O.'s daughter, who's a part of your program, she know the game already. So she knows expectation off rip, only being 17 years old. Whereas reality, it doesn't really hit you till like 19, 20.
Yeah.
I mean, you just really know like, yo, I got to really like step this up. And a second dose of reality is you may have just been so underperforming by then where you're expendable.
Yeah, you can't even catch up, And I think, bringing up Kylie, which is T.O.'s kid, I think about that same conversation. Like I told you, I have that same conversation with all of my incoming freshmen or potential incoming freshmen, even if they're just on a visit. And I talk about strength and conditioning, and I'm asking them if they're doing it, how much are they doing it? And I could say she's, one of the first ones that wasn't doing it, that even before she committed, after our conversation, got into doing it. That doesn't happen. But I think she also needs to hear from me, because I think T.O. said he was telling her about it. But then when I reiterated what he had been telling her, then she jumped into it. But most, they don't. Then they show up in August, still not knowing how to do a body squat. And it's like, didn't I tell you back when you came last year about strength and conditioning and the difference that it is going to make and what we do here that is a part of our regimen here? And you had a whole year to do it and you still didn't do it. So that already let me know, you know what I mean? And so now you're further behind than you even thought that you were, because you thought, oh, well, I was good enough already. I can just show up. And it's like, no, anybody who has a better work ethic is going to surpass 9 times out of 10 the person with just straight up talent. You know,
Yeah.
that's just the
Talent,
reality.
work beats talent, man. And shout out to a few comments real quick. David saying good convo. I appreciate that, man. I mean, this is what we trying to bring. We bring reality. These always go 2 hours with Tacho. I already knew. She's like, what we gonna talk about? Like, you know, it's gonna go 2 hours.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy DJ in the building.
I love it. I love it here.
Absolutely. He covers HBCU sports as well, man. And so shout out to DJ.
If you want to have me, let me know.
DJ, holla at Tacho, man. I know you have a way bigger audience than me, so your HBCU crowd would love to hear her speak, brother, for sure. But yeah, I mean, and that's just kind of like what comes with sports, man. I love sports, and I'm very critical of athletes because I know what it all encompasses. It encompasses a lot of side stuff. It encompasses a lot of personal sacrifice. And when you see the people who actually are on the court, on the field, you know it's for a reason. Most likely not always. Sometimes you get some BS.
Yeah, you're like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, but for the most part, yeah. And I think, obviously, Kobe, my favorite player, but not even just from what he did on the court. It was his work ethic, man. Like when I listen to, old videos, of him and him talking and just all of the sacrifices he made for the game and to be great. Like, it's so admirable, but it's so uncommon, so uncommon to just that level into which he gave the game, to be ahead of the game, how much earlier he had to wake up to be better than the next person, how many more shots he took than the next person, how much he did outside of the practice that was required, and I love that. And that's really why he is my favorite player, is because of that, because that in itself, like, it's just so admirable. I mean, just think about all the time he had to spend away from his kids and his wife and all that just to be known as one of the greats, and we're talking college athletics, but at the same time, it's like, if you want to win championships here, everybody on your roster has to have that mentality. And it's just, championship level teams obviously are team led, not coach led. If I'm doing all the critiquing, if I'm doing all the yelling, if I'm doing all the correction all the time, we're not going to be very good, because that means I'm the only person holding everybody accountable, But when 1 through however many you have on your roster have that type of work ethic, or doing what it takes outside of the 2 hours that you see me, that's what I'm trying to build here, and athletes that don't get with that, like, you can't play for me. You can't be here, because I don't want that. And I wasn't that type of player. Like, anybody could tell you, we didn't have strength and conditioning coaches like that. We just didn't have it. But me and my teammates found a way. We found a way, to work out. We found a way to, like, get better regardless, outside of the 2 hours that we spent in practice, like, because we wanted it that bad. Period.
That's real. And I gotta say this, man. We got 12 active watching, man. Appreciate y'all keeping those numbers up. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna put Tacho's channel back up. Yeah, because I mean, you're gonna get this every time from Tacho, and that's why I like here now. I've been told her for the longest, come do this YouTube thing.
I know.
You got it in you, man. You got it in you.
I don't know. And I guess I was trying to find out, what do people want to even hear me talk about? But then it really became about, what do I even want to talk about with people?
Yeah, there you go right there. What do you want to talk about?
And so that, obviously it'll probably branch off, just because, I could talk about a wide range of things. But I think, while I'm in this volleyball world, there's so much with HBCU volleyball that needs to be discussed. Good, bad, indifferent, amazing, and really, get the whole story, because me, I'm very upfront. I don't sugarcoat or anything. So you're going to get the real. And I think that's important to hear it from alum, from volleyball players, past, present, future players, current, high school, even middle school, to hear about what's going on with HBCU and volleyball, not just at PV, but all of them on every level. And I think it's important. And I think, you're seeing obviously in like football and basketball and track more, top tier Black athletes going to HBCUs or transferring down to HBCUs and stuff. And I want that for volleyball too, because I feel like people have to understand that it's going to take a big group of them to really get, a huge turnaround and, change to where, for instance, when we go and, like in the spring, we beat UIW, right? That's the first time in history that Prairie Volleyball has ever beat a PWI, right? But that should be the standard because
Absolutely.
Southland, they're on the same, they're in the same level with us. The, lower, who else do we play? They just whack, all the, like those type of schools, like we should be not just, oh, we're competing them and it's an upset. It's like, no, that should be a constant thing because we have the same caliber of athletes and high IQ volleyball players that you guys have, and we can acquire those players, and I think if they hear it from me and others like me, then they'll get it, and we can reach a wider platform for that. So that's my end goal.
Agreed, man. And shout out DJ again, says this has been a great discussion. Learn a lot about women's volleyball. Glad to hear from Coach Tacho.
Appreciate
man. Yeah, because I mean this needs to be discussed. And again, I let in with volleyball ain't nowhere close to the top of my favorite sports, but I respect work. I respect athletes, no matter what you do for your vocation. Yeah. And I was about to mention that hearing you talk is like a lot hearing Cynthia Cooper talk. I had on my show 2 years ago. Coop, the way she went about things is, I got this. I'm gonna do what I do. I need you to do this. Like, if you can just give me what you give me what 6 points, 10 rebounds. If that's all you can give me, you better give me that shit every time.
Every time.
I want that every time. Every time. And great backstory, man. Shout out to my boy Anthony Oha, man. He
Oha, dang.
Yeah. Throwback name right there.
Yeah.
Oha. The little 6'6" Elijah
so cool, man.
Yeah. Oha Oha was 7 foot, man, he'd be a monster, man.
I agree.
But I remember, man, we played against Alcorn State. Is our first conference game, and I came off a hot game against Pine Bluff. I hit like 16 against Pine Bluff. I had a good game against Oregon State, good game against Louisville. But he was just, and I remember him and some of the older guys was like, yo, all that preseason stuff don't matter. The SWAC is different. And I remember I came out slow against Alcorn it was getting used to the SWAC style of play. It's just different, like with the with the shit talking and the atmosphere is just different. It just is
very different. It ain't for the weak. I can tell you that.
It is not for the weak. And I remember going to the locker room, and Oha was like, "Dog, you supposed to be this JUCO All-American. You ain't doing shit, man. What you here for?" I was like, "Damn." Oha ain't no dude I'm scared of by any stretch of imagination, but mentally,
like that, yeah.
Like, shit. I mean, he wasn't wrong. I wasn't.
But see, you could take it, but like now, like it's just different. People don't want to hear that, but it's like it's the heat of the moment. Like it's halftime. You said it's halftime of the game. It's gonna come off different than we're in practice because now there's something at stake. Now
something's at stake.
You gotta be able to get called out on your shit. Because people know what's expected of you, and what's expected of you. Right. So if you normally, like Coop said, if you normally give me 6 and 10 and you give me 0 and 2, it's a problem. And somebody should be on your butt about it. You know what I mean? So, and as a teammate, it was great that it came from him and not having the coach say that. It's better when a teammate does it because they check it like, man, you this is what you've done on preseason, where that's at. And that's the type of accountability. And I remember too, like when I was playing volleyball and we had one freshman, when we had one SWAC, and I was Sean, and we would be on Sean's butt every day.
Shout out to Sean, man.
Yes, we are not losing because of this freshman, like because she was so talented, and we knew she was going to play. She was our other starting middle, so we knew you were going to dominate, but we had to mentally get get her there. And it's like, we're not letting one drag the ship down. Like, come with us, girl. Like we was on her butt every day, but it was better that it was us than Coach Pete. Like it was a teammate saying, with all this talent meets all of this other stuff, and we're going to make sure you have it because we're going to win, And so it's so important to have that. And I'm glad, that a teammate did that. But like when coaches are always the one doing it, that's like not a good sign,
Oh yeah.
of a team, because it's like, you know, why are you know, you're going 100% and you're going 100%. Why is it okay for them to go 20% and you're not saying nothing? You know, it don't even have to be in a rude way, but why are you not saying nothing? You know, why are you not telling them that that is unacceptable here? You know, that's not what we do, you know.
What that means is the culture isn't established, because like you're
Mhm.
right. Like when your stuff is nice and full, your players, it's like you police yourselves. And how do I know this? Didn't get a lot of success at Prairie View with this, because you know, the reason is for the reason. But
Mhm.
in high school and between the game sports, my guy Will is still on here. He knows this for a fact. We were ranked number 10 team in Texas my senior year in high school. Oh, we had that thing policed all the way down. And we from a ghetto high school. Eisenhower, y'all know Akers Homes. We had that thing down. Like, it was no deviant behavior in our program whatsoever. And it wasn't like we was gonna fight somebody over it. We was gonna roast you. So if you didn't want to work hard, if you didn't want to meet the standard, we just gonna roast you. We're gonna laugh at you. That was our way of policing, because we wasn't gonna put hands on nobody like that. I mean, we had some, you know, some pretty sketchy figures on our team. Let me just put it that way. Some boys in street pharmacy, and, you know, on our team and what have you. So
And you know,
we
college is
couldn't.
worse too.
Yeah.
All
So
kind of people in your
exactly.
program.
So we wasn't gonna strong arm nobody in that way, but we was gonna make the culture so uncomfortable if you didn't come to work
Mhm.
that you wouldn't fit in with us. You just wouldn't fit in. Like if you didn't want to run, you talk back to coach. You wouldn't fit in with us, because we would make fun of the fact that you don't take direction well.
Yeah.
We just laugh at you, and you eventually we broke a lot again. We broke a lot of hood dudes who came in who was younger than us. They
Mhm.
bought into what we was doing, just the way we did it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, no, we hit a win. Like when we used to say 1, 2, 3, state bound. We meant that. We
Mhm.
was a game away from the state tournament. Again, ranked number 10 in Texas when the year was out in 5A. But coach, I mean, we had a really good coach as far as establishing like fundamentals and what have you. But he didn't have to do a lot of policing. Like
And
we
that's
chopped
like
the head off the
when
dragon,
we were
man.
successful, you know. Same with us, like you has to be a hooper. That was actually my first love, was hooping. And when my junior year, we had Latoya Davis, which was our center. She ended up going to Tech, playing overseas and stuff, but she was huge, you know. But we had some, you know, players in between, plus me and stuff. But we lost the game to go to the state tournament too. And the game before, we had upset Hightower, who had
Oh
been,
yeah,
you know, in Hightower was, they was a beast. But
absolutely.
you know,
In every
it was
sport.
crazy. Yeah, in every sport, like they were good. So they had their hotel rooms already booked. They knew they was, you know, going
Yeah.
back to state, winning state. Change that. But that year on that team, it was the same. It was us on each other. Like it wasn't, you know, and it wasn't a whole lot that had to be said, because everybody knew there was something special that year. You know, it was South Houston. We were okay every year. Like it wasn't no, we're just getting our butts whooped. But that one year, we knew how special it was. So we had one freshman kid on there, mostly juniors, seniors, but it wasn't a whole lot where we had to beg people to do what we needed to do, because we knew what the end goal was, you know? And so we just check each other real quick, and then that's it. That's it. That's over with. Same in college. You know, it was mostly us. It was rarely Pete, you know, just really getting on us. It was us on each other. And that's what is really the baseline for championship caliber teams, you know, less coach, more us, you know.
I love it. I love it. And shout out to DJ. I know, like, you new to the channel, man. So subscribe if you've not done so. He says, yo, see Franks. What's up, Tacho?
Hey,
Great
what's
to hear
up,
you doing
DJ?
big things. Yeah, there we go. There we
He has
go.
pictures up, so I don't know who anybody is.
Yeah, same here. He says, sorry, late to the convo. Love to hear some of the things you do or have done to evolve your strategy as a coach as the modern era evolves. Yeah, so and she covered a lot of that. So on the replay, get this. Me and Tacho always go 2 hours. Like I say, I already knew what time it was going to be. It's
Yeah,
going
we
to be
have
a
to
long.
I can kind of touch based on that what he talked about modifying.
Okay,
Um
go ahead.
it's crazy because when I first started coaching, you know, I was very like, you know, this is what I did, this is what I have done, and this is how you need to do it too. When I
Oh,
first
that's
started.
Derek. That's Derek.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. And so when I first started coaching, it was a lot of that, a lot of sarcasm, really, less empathy. Because it was, man, I got it out the mud. Y'all need to get it out the mud too, you know, type thing. And so I started that way for my first few years of coaching, but then I really evolved in being able to communicate the same information in a bunch of different ways. And really realizing that not everybody learns the same. Some are visual learners, some people can, you can really just dig in them and that's what they need. Some people, you got to talk to them a certain way, So it was really finding out what kind of kid each kid was, what type of instruction they needed, because not everybody was the same. And then also in this day and age too, coaching is kind of a scary thing because you're really stepping over landmines every day because mental health is so huge. And I have this kind of like anxiety fear in the back of my head that I yell at a girl in practice and it's the wrong day, So it's really like I've scaled back a lot each and every year, about how it comes off, like what I'm saying, and how I get on the players and what I'm saying to them and different things like that, because there's just so much going on with kids and what they have going on. And I'm fortunate that a lot of my athletes come and talk to me personally. So I know a lot about what's going on in their lives and what they're dealing with. And that allows me to kind of get around the landmines a little bit better. But I think that's a really huge thing, because with COVID and people being in the house like that and not being able to go anywhere, with athletes, coming out of that, it is a very different thing. And so it's really playing a long mental game. I myself also, through Methodist at PV, we are able to get a certain amount of sports psychology hours. And coaches can use it too. So I actually once a month have a sports psychologist that I actually dump on, and that helps me better as well as a coach. I can't hear you.
So I like that because the Lord knows, boy, the guys that I played with, boy, we had some special stuff going on.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. And I think the crazier part about some of the things that the players and stuff go through, like it's really the kids that have really good backgrounds. The kids with the rough backgrounds, I don't really worry about them too much. They come in, they just, they work, they do, trying to do better because they haven't had it. But it's the kids kind of with, from the 2-parent homes and the suburban life, especially suburban African-American kids. They are some of the most difficult, honestly, to get through. Yeah, to get through, to push, because a lot of times I'm maybe the first Black coach that they had, and or a Black woman. And a lot of times, my experience, only a lot of Black suburban kids, a white coach can tell them and say whatever in any kind of way, and they'll take it like it's nothing. I say the same thing, and not even in the harshest form, and it becomes, oh, she's bullying, or she's, beating me down. And it's like, no, I'm just coaching, but you're just not used to a Black woman, or a Black person being the authority figure. So it's a trend, and sometimes with like other coaches, they talk about it's the same thing, like suburban, Black kids. I don't know, maybe the sheltered life or whatever, but the kids with the, the kind of background that I had, those are the kids that just come in and grind and just work, and so that's, it's different.
I would say this, I was the opposite, because I'm coming from a hood background. I didn't have no problem with a Black man telling me. When I was at Stephen F. Austin, Coach Casper, the white man telling me something like that, I didn't know I'd take that. I really had a big problem with his approach. I step back as a grown man now. I appreciated everything he said to me. Everything he said to me at 18.
Not so much. And that's really too. I was talking to a baseball coach. I won't tell you what it is, but he was saying that, that has changed too, because now, like, the Black kids that come, they haven't had like a trustworthy Black figure in their house. And so, or even around. And so when they come to college and they're hearing stuff from him, they don't take it too well because there's a mistrust there.
Well, I would say this too. My dad was my coach most of my life. So I was used to that, or like Jared's dad or Will's dad. So Black men instructing me in sports was common. Like that's what I I expected that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a white coach since like middle school. Was my
See, basketball, volleyball.
Yeah,
you don't get a whole lot of black coaches. Yeah.
And I want to say this real quick. Shout out to the PV alum who trickled in. Shout out to Phyllis.
Hey, Phyllis.
Phyllis always showing love, man. Appreciate you coming.
Always. She always supporting me. Always.
No always. Shout out to Team Keller says thank you for the great conversation.
Oh, that's one of my might be her mom or dad. One of my liberos coming in out of Dallas.
Nice.
Awesome kid.
Nice.
Can't wait to get on the court. Appreciate you.
Shout out to that. DJ says on target. And yeah, man. So listen, PV, if you want to get y'all media game up, man, if you want to incorporate me into what's going on, because I watched that stream y'all had with all the coaches, teed around 5 people watching the whole time. So I'm just saying. So if you want to get
PVAMU TV, you really should get on there. They're like, the fact that they even are trying to do something, to get athletics out there is really great for us because we don't have, just a whole lot of media outlets. I can definitely put you in touch with Teresa Dowell. She's awesome.
I will put you out. Listen, PV, because people want to hear this HBCU stuff. I'm PV too, PV to the day you see me on TV. You like that? But like it's just, and we talked about this off camera, like we got a ways to go to be in the forefront in the HBCU world because you got your Jacksons, you got your Grammars, you got your FAMUs, your Howards, your Hamptons, Spelman, Morehouse, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Prairie View, as far as us being, and shout out to Kenyatta Cavill, my frat brother, saying that we're a tier 2 institution now.
Yeah, I forgot how they word it, but yeah.
Yeah. So we have the fortification from the education standpoint of being up there with everybody who's at the top. Mm-hmm. It's just as far as promoting, maybe not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Ms. Davenport in the building.
Hey, Mama D.
What's going on now?
Mama D always, she watches all my stuff. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Like we do need to do better, marketing, get us, on the map. And really it's got to be a win, lose or draw thing, because for, a lot of sports, it's, we haven't been, a powerhouse in, a lot of sports across the board. And so it's, even schools who like bigger schools that, lose every year, it doesn't matter. Like the stands are still filled up. People are still, because they love their school. And I want us to be the same way, win, lose or draw. You're in the stands, with every sport, because, the big football, women's basketball, men's basketball, you're always going to have.
Well, I got to digress.
Yeah.
I love this era when we beat Grambling like religiously at the.
Oh, it's so good because, man, we used to
get our ass whooped.
Pack out the Cotton Bowl. And it didn't, people still went. And it was like, dang. But when we started.
We know we about to get our heads wiped out every time. My senior year, we lost 77-7 with Bruce Eugene. 77-7.
It's so much joy now. I'm telling you. The tide turning. Oh, so much joy.
Now. Like, I don't even like hardly want to check for that game now. Like,
stay humble. Stay humble.
No, I ain't humble. Hey. Like I told E, man, rest in peace, E. I was like, I'm sick of being humble. Nah. Don't lose the Nah.
Oh, it's so good. The tides are turned though. But I want all alum to support all the sports, as much as they can. We just have to, it has to start at home. Like when people see you do the work yourself, they're more willing to help out. You know what I mean? When they see you doing the work. If you're always asking and not doing, people are less likely or inclined to, to help you out. So if we're doing all this stuff here and it's homegrown and everybody sees the force that PV can be, because all of our alums are that way and our current students are that way, all the staff, the faculty, everybody, it's just one band, one sound type thing. Then all the, the outside people would start, doing what we need to do so we can, be talked about as much as, Prime and Jackson are on rotation.
I mean, Coach Sanders gave us a good endorsement before he took the Jackson job, and most people don't remember this. He had an HBCU combine, and he was saying how Prairie View, man, like y'all got it going over here at PV. I didn't know y'all doing it like that. looking at our new stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got the stuff in order. We just got to put the legs to it. So again, PV marketing, man. Hey, I know I'm out here in LA. I have credentials. I can go to events. I can go to stuff and promote this right here everywhere I go. Just saying. Just
They
saying.
have a college expo out there. Make sure you go. I know they do them all over the place, like HBCU college expos.
Yeah, I just gotta get privy to them because I mean this is a big city, man. It is what it is. Let's see. So G Boom, or say, yeah, expect to beat Grambling. Yes, sir. Be Pat. G Boom said Shaq's son didn't get any playing time over at TSU. At TSU got a hell of a team. So yeah.
They do.
Freshman too, like
yeah, you gotta earn you gotta earn your
man.
How can y'all
get sweet and swag, man? Like people think it's just some pushover conference. No, not at all. Not at all. Shoot. My guy John Walker, he just declared for the draft. He played for Texas Southern. He transferred in from Texas A&M, and this year he didn't even start. He was a sixth man.
It's crazy. They got. I
was
glad Smith got his. Got his in. Put us there. But it's gonna be them two for a minute. Yeah, I was glad Smith got them too. I was like, TSU, man, winning. They had been winning so much. I was like, golly.
Absolutely. And so Justin Singleton says, how can you get NBA players' kids to come to PVTSU already has Shaq's kids? Well, just stay invisible, in my opinion. Because right now, HBCUs have the attention that we wanted when we played that we just didn't have. Mm-hmm. Now we have people's ears, we have people's minds, and unfortunately, this is an offshoot off of the George Floyd incident. Mm-hmm. After George Floyd, it kind of turned people more to being more in tune to their culture, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And now you see people more just open to HBCU experience. And so now that we have people's attention, we got to capitalize. And how do we know this? Travis Hunter being the number one or number two, depending on what poll you're looking at, football player in all of football chose Jackson State. Mm-hmm. And you guys got to understand that that's huge. That is the equivalent of damn near Kobe Bryant choosing to go to Grambling. Yeah, when he was in high school. It's like that. It's like Kobe going to Grambling. Is what that is with Travis Hunter going to Jackson State. And I don't think nobody even made that analogy, but that's what that is. Number two prospect in or number one in high school period goes to Jackson State. So now that kids who wouldn't even, I mean, let's put him to the side. Like you said, 4 or 5
wouldn't even be on their radar,
Yeah. Right. Like that's not even computable. Let's talk about these 3-star guys who are coming to HBCUs now, where normally it's not easy to get those transfers, right? Yeah. So now it's a new precedent. Like the power balance has been shaken. The transfer portal is open. Now it doesn't necessarily benefit us because if they came down from Power 5, they can play immediately down to us. Mm-hmm. But just people understand generally that you can control your own destiny. And I think that us just being more visual, putting stuff out there. Again, I want to talk to T.O. So get T.O. Like people don't know that T.O. daughter plays for you. And I know you trying to keep it humble, but people don't know this. T.O. daughter goes to Prairie View A&M University and plays volleyball. You need to know this because people think associatively. Yeah. So when they like, oh, it's good enough for a pro kid, daughter, shit. Okay, well, damn. What's going on? Let me Google Prairie View A&M University. What is this? You look at the campus, like, wow, okay.
Yeah, once they get on campus, the campus almost sells itself. You just got to get them down here. Yeah, and then also too, when we're on national TV and stuff like that, it would be great if the stands are packed out. If the game day experience is amazing, if we perform well, when we're on national TV, because now the thought process is, oh, when I get down there, I can still compete with the same people that I'd be if I chose somewhere else, and obviously with Dion being at Jackson, having a former amazing NFL Hall of Famer, obviously player there, that he's respected enough to where he'll get all who he needs, to do a pro day. You're going to get scouts down there. And then with Dion, obviously he sells in himself because he's going to call out people who don't come here, and stuff like that. And so that's how you kind of get them, if that's the route that coaches, want to go. Like yes, you have like you said, you talked about how do you get him, Shaq has his kid, come in and all this stuff. But when what's his name's kid came down, he didn't play, so it's like you don't want people to think that just coming to HBCU means that you're just going to start automatically, or you don't got to put any work. You got to put in the same amount of work that you would be doing if you would have chose a Power 5. Like this is just, it's not a free ride here just because it's HBCU, type thing. So that's my opinion. Oh yeah, I heard that one of his daughters goes to PV2, Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, Ocho was down there. He had a viral
video with the football.
Yeah, with the football. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then now with Bubba McDowell as the head coach, he has his NFL contacts and stuff like that too. So I think you'll see a little tide turn there or more here as well. And then of course, we still have Cadero in the NFL and stuff like that, who is
Hodge,
doing well and stuff. And I think if he keeps, if he stays injury free, he could be really a top receiver in the league, and stuff like that. So like if we
got KJ coaching,
KJ at the Rams, and so he's gonna be bleeding HBCU into wherever he go. And so
Johnson coaching for the Vikings.
Yep,
we got Prairie View people out here.
So they everywhere for sure. Absolutely. And if people can continue to see that even from an HBCU, your wildest dream can still come true, and they'll start coming even more.
You got Hoop Jargon out here, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey man, out in La La Land, get media credentials and stuff.
Don't get limited, man. Let's see. Lastly, I did want to talk about your camp that's coming up.
Yeah. Whoop whoop. I'm so excited. We had we were gonna actually do the camp last summer. Well, the summer before COVID hit. And so we had to wait, till it kind of subsided enough for us to do it. But I'm really excited to bring a camp to our campus. We have one day just for 6th through 8th graders, and then the next day for 9th through 12th grade. Any of the flyers you see floating around, you can just use the QR code to sign up. Lunch on us as well for all of the participants, as well as a camp t-shirt. We're excited for y'all to come to campus and learn from us. I'm super excited. Registration will close July 8th. So you have until then, but we're only doing 50 slots per day. So sign up really quickly.
Y'all hit that QR code right there, man. So y'all see get there.
Yes, bring your daughters, your nieces, even if you're playing college volleyball, not college volleyball, high school, middle school, if they're even interested in volleyball, bring them down so they can see, our campus because I think, starting kids early about HBCUs is important. Like my kid now, he's like, I'm going to HBCU and he going to PV. That's where he's going. Yeah. But no, but yeah, it's a legacy thing, you got to do it. But because I'm bringing him around it, all the time and telling him why HBCUs exist in the first place is like a huge thing. And so I want to get, kids of all backgrounds to get here on campus, see that we know what we're talking about, see some of our players are, running the camp as well, along with me and my staff. But yeah, I'm excited about the camp. So many people have been asking, so I hope the numbers dictate that. Because a lot of people have been asking, why we haven't done camps and stuff like that. And so, I'm excited.
There you go. Now you know.
Yeah, July 12th and 13th. Come on down to PV and the Baby Dome.
Come on down.
Get your t-shirt, get you some lunch, and get some volleyball skills knowledge. It is all skills, so don't worry. We're gonna take it from the ground up and expand you from there. So it's from check-in starts at 8. So the camp is 9 to 4. So parents, don't worry. You can drop them off if you need to and go to work and pick them back up later. It's pretty much all day. We're all, certified and everything. So you don't got to worry about it. They're in good hands. So
perfect. And I did want to make sure I plug that because it's important that we get the development going with the sport the right way. It's important we support the program, obviously, which camps do. Mm-hmm. And so I do want to make sure one last time, y'all hit that QR code on that if you were interested. If you know someone that may be, screenshot this, send it off, or hit the URL code there.
Yep. Or anybody that that's saying, I want to play volleyball at PV. This is the time to do it. That's the most important. I always tell athletes, when they ask, what camp should you go to? the camps that you know that you want to go to that school. Excuse me, that you want that coach to see you, in their environment, in their atmosphere. Those are the most important camps to attend. So if you know anybody who's, I want to play volleyball for PV, this is the camp. This is the way for you to see them up close and personal.
I love it. Giving free game on the stream, y'all. I'm saying, man, if you want to drop a super chat, you drop a cash app.
Yeah, pay this man.
Listen, I'm a benevolent proprietor over here, man. Hey, we working for funds, not for fun. And I say that again because when I patronize other people's stuff, I do show appreciation for liking what they do. And that's just, the culture it is doing the YouTube thing. And once you get monetized, you get over 1,000 subscribers, you'll know what I'm talking about. So
give me up, y'all. Give me up.
So great point. I want to share again your page. So for those who have not subscribed yet, y'all hit the subscribe button on her channel. Let me
Out of the shadows. Spotlight on HBCU volleyball. Bringing them out, bringing us to the forefront, center stage. So I'll be posting content soon. Don't worry. And you'll get more of this type of conversation, but from different, current volleyball players, collegiate players, coaches, assistants, everybody on the HBCU volleyball level. So we'll get some good discussions going. Don't worry.
There we go. And I'm going to try to drop it one more time. But that's crazy, man. We never really dipped over under 10. We've been going 2.5 hours.
Sometimes people like to listen to me. That's nice.
They like it. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just spit the facts. I don't run away from that. I like to be very honest. So I'm glad y'all sticking around. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
That's what's up. And so I just dropped the link again, y'all, so y'all can go to Coach Tacho's new YouTube stream, and she's gonna start putting out content about volleyball. Out of the shadow with it.
Volleyball.
I'm sorry.
HBCU volleyball.
HBCU volleyball.
Yeah, so Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadows. There we go. So let's do that. Justin Singleton says good insight. Absolutely. So thank y'all for tuning in. Coach Tacho, you got anything you want to impart upon the audience before we reach out?
Well, one, Cliff, thanks for having me. I appreciate any time that we get to banter back and forth about anything and everything. So thank you again for having me. And everybody else out there, follow us on Instagram at PVAMU VolleyB. It's the same on Twitter, and keep up with us throughout the year. I'm really excited about the season. We have some amazing girls coming in, and our spring has been really great. So I'm excited for everybody to get together. Other than that, that is it. I had a great time.
Perfect. There we go. So y'all follow up with Coach Tacho. She gonna lace y'all up on game with the volleyball HBCU experience.
Yes,
and,
I will.
Things. Y'all always tune in here to Hoop Jargon. I know it's called Hoop Jargon, but we cover literally everything. As Tacho knows, because I've said that like 11 years ago when I made Hoop Jargon up. I was
the very first time, it's so crazy to see where it has gone. I remember our very first meet and greet was like 6 people. Coaches, remember?
I'm about to pull that up.
Oh my gosh, yes. He came to me with this idea. He's like, I want to start a Facebook group that talks about sports. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm in. And we had our first little meet and greet. It was like 6 of us. And then it blew up, and we've done all kinds of trips and events and toy drives and Christmas parties and drunkenness. The best Christmas party known to man for a while there, for sure. And so I'm actually very proud of you. PV produces productive people, so I hear.
Appreciate it. You see my share screen?
Can I what?
You see my share screen right now on the side?
No, I just see me in the background, your Hoop Jargon at PV Volleyball, and then the HJ at the top.
Oh, that's true. What about now? You see it now?
Yeah, I see it now.
All right, so I'm gonna show y'all this video, man. I made this almost 10 years ago. May 15th.
It's really been that long? That is crazy.
Yeah, no, we're some dinosaurs out here. So I'm gonna play this, man. This is like literally our first meetup we ever had 10 years ago.
Crazy.
Hold on, wait. Tacho.
I was married. That's how long ago it was.
Boy, Tim.
Oh my God. How I got the TV, really. It was 6 months. Why are you yelling?
Man. Some of the old members.
God. Look at me.
That's crazy.
Wow. Look at him, like the caliber of the video.
Man.
Hold up. Shout out to Kobe. That means I got somebody.
Coach Toyel.
Big time coach now.
Man, the current coach at Southern Methodist University, formerly at Michigan
Baylor.
University, formerly at Baylor. This was before she took the Baylor job. This was when Toyel was baby in the game.
Was she the assistant at PV then? Or was
No,
she
she's the head coach at PV.
Oh, okay.
Toyel. Shout out to Toyel Wilson, man.
Lake love.
700 members. We currently at like almost 6,000 now. So that's
crazy. Man. Look how far you came, man. Big shout out to that. Cameraman.
Hoop Jargon's come a long way.
Long way. Met a lot of good people through there. So
dang, that's crazy.
Crazy.
That's so weird to watch that.
It is. That seems like a lifetime ago.
I mean, I think I had hair back then. So yeah. I had a fade back then.
Telling you to let it go back then.
You know, 2 years later, I think you better let it go. It's a hairline TKO.
All right, BHA.
Association. It is what it is. But man, thank you so much, Tacho.
Yeah, I appreciate you for real.
Yeah, for real, man. Y'all go follow her channel. It's right there in the chat. Y'all been strong the whole time for 2.5 hours, man. This is it's always when you on here though. Everybody like you, man. So
crazy.
Like
imagine that.
So thank y'all so much, man. Y'all hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're not done so already. I'm gonna put on for Prairie View. I'm gonna do more of these, and y'all's participation helps me do these. So again, Tacho, how the media department, man, they need some Prairie View exposure.
I got you. I'm gonna put you in with people. I promise.
I'm out doing what they doing, and it shouldn't be that way because it's a really nice presentation they have actually with that studio.
Yeah,
y'all seen the thumbnail? Let me put the thumbnail up.
Yeah, it's nice. And then now they're like
that studio. That's nice.
Doing like weekly shows. So I've been sending my athletes. I'm trying to get them all to go and talk so people can hear from the athletes and their experience. So I love that they let either a coach or a player go, so they can talk to them firsthand. So I think it's great. And I also love that they're letting other students interview because they get that experience, And so I love that they're doing that. And so each week they do a weekly, like a coach's corner. And so we can go or students can go. So I've been having my girls go. Every sport is being able, even the rec sports are being able to go on there and talk throughout the day. And so people can hear from the students because really that's what makes PV go around. It's students, it's not really us. And so I love that they're doing it. I think they're going to continue to get better with it. But I appreciate them even having a platform for us. So I'll definitely put you in touch with her. She's awesome. And she's really about putting people on the map. So
I'm gonna have the PV. I'm gonna have the PV. And shout out to D Holcomb in the building.
Oh, hey D, thank you.
Appreciate that, brother. I'm gonna have the celebrities try to pull up, man. Like, cause Houston is just so rich of noteworthy talent. This dog is always killing me. But we'll have them on the couch talking, and getting in great shape with Prairie View. Even they ain't got nothing to do with Prairie View. people watch stuff like that, and that's what you'll see is like associations is how people generally are interested in certain subjects. So that's all we gotta do is get a little better in that compartment. So yeah, put me with them people, man. We get to talking. We'll talk about this backstage. And so appreciate you, Tacho.
Got you.
All right, everybody. Absolutely. We're gonna let Kendrick Perkins take us home. Thank y'all for doing it again. Hit the like button.
Not Kendrick.
Yeah. Perk is Perk, man. He be saying some.
Ooh, that dusty triangle. Oh, my PA over there.
Hey. All right, Mama D.
Thanks, Mama D.
Absolutely. So, all right. So we're gonna have LeVar. No, you know what? No, you do Kendrick Perkins. I like
Come on, LeVar. Come on. You know I'm a LeVar fan.
You want LeVar to take us home?
Yeah, you know.
All right, we're gonna do LeVar. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.